Do, 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 do. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope we always do. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. I'm just a question asker. But who is important? This is my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Man, Leonard, what is going today is Friday, man, with the end of another week. We're gonna broadcast and I'm gonna take me another nap today. You gonna take you a nap?
That's probably on the schedule.
Yes, sir. But what is going on in the political arena right now? Anything going on, man? Any changes? How we looking?
Well, business is going and moving ahead. We'll see if you're really interested, as I constantly mention. So, common folks don't lose sight of these investigations for January the 6th
Mm-hmm.
because you want to make sure your government is doing what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
So we see where they're moving forward and tapping officials in the Trump administration and
Mm-hmm.
actually bringing them in for questioning for the January 6th committee.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to see that that progress is being made. One
Okay.
of the things that really struck me is I was reading, because I read a lot about racism or what have you,
Mm-hmm.
and it is amazing as this relates to critical race theory and why we must teach this to young people. It's because even today, even with COVID, racism is still embedded
Yes.
in the COVID saga. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the study was released by the Journal of Medicine and things like that, related to a study that was done. Now, listen to this. As terrible as COVID was, racism became evident when the Surgeon General at that time, who was black, remember? Y'all don't even remember Jerome,
Mm-hmm.
and his comments and how white people vote against their own interest if it will benefit black people.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the delivery of COVID care and things of that nature, white people were less likely to push to remedy COVID once they believed that it was predominantly affecting African Americans.
Mm. How
Think
heartless is
about
that?
that.
How heartless is that, brother?
Think about it. But the thing, what's worse about it is it's not new.
Mm-hmm.
It's not new at all. It relates to people who are poor and white who are voting for the party that has proven that they don't care about them,
Mm-hmm.
but given them the rhetoric around racism to even convince them to go against their own benefits.
Mm.
That's sick, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is why we must teach critical race theory in order to finally put your foot on his neck. You know what I'm saying? And
Why?
white folks have to do it too, not just
Mm-hmm.
black people.
Yeah. Yeah.
White
Exactly.
folks have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good that the younger white generation eyes are far more open than
Mm-hmm.
their ancestors.
Why do you think there's such a push and a movement for people not to push critical race theory?
Well, it's because no one wants their dirt to be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants that. And we have yet to hear stories on how younger white people, how they're introduced to racism.
Mm-hmm.
Do they talk about it at home? Do they confront those racist individuals in their family? Did they come from families that were completely against it from the beginning? And that's why they're such avid fighters? Because you have to remember, not everyone is on board with racism that is white.
Mm-hmm.
There are
Mm-hmm.
some white folks that are just as much against racism as black people. And these are the people who you see writing about it, who are a part of the change, who work with organizations to defeat it and things like that. You can't take the lip service,
Mm-hmm.
just like the lip service of blacks that don't want to do nothing,
Yeah.
but expect change to occur.
Mm-hmm. Where's it
See,
gonna come from?
these are the people that don't help the cause.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to encourage people to understand. I mean, you have to be sitting back on your couch if you pouring white in your trailer in the dirt. Ain't nobody got no education. Ain't nobody got no money. Folks getting sick and can't even get to a hospital. You have to say to yourself, what does it benefit me to be flying this rebel flag supporting the Republican Party
Mm-hmm.
initiatives? How
Mm-hmm.
does that help you? Think about it. How does it help you? And if
Mm-hmm.
you can't come up with a good reason, you need to go vote the other way
Mm-hmm.
because you need people that represent your interests. And if your only interest is hurting black people, may you rest in hell.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Period.
Wow. Now there are some people that would say the opposite side, say why should they vote? And we've had conversations with different people that say different things about it. Why should they vote for the Democratic Party? Because they say the Democratic Party has never done anything for black people either. And they say that either or they say what do you say to those individuals?
They're miseducated liars
Mm-hmm.
because the evidence is there. Go read it. Nobody gonna argue with you about what is so tangible. Go read it
Mm-hmm.
and look and compare what was going on then to what's going on now. There are a whole bunch of policies and programs that are there that were not there before 68.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and look at all the work that all these people have done related to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you look and say, ain't nobody doing nothing. Are you blind or stupid? Pick one.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you just
Wow.
talking just to talk?
Mm-hmm. And Leonard, I'm trying to be real careful with this part of it, but you got a certain individuals that will live or die and swear by the Republican Party, and sometimes they look just like you and I.
Good for them. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're the enemy. I don't, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're against me and my people, how can I be for you?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
I have no love for them.
How do we bridge the gap? We in 2022 now. How do we bridge that gap?
By sharing the truth and communicating with one another about what we want for to change now and for the future of our children and this planet
Mm-hmm.
and democracy as a whole. Racism is a problem
Mm-hmm.
within this democracy.
Leonard, truth of the matter, and looking at this thing realistically, will it ever go away?
Yes, yes, once the people who make the rules make it a priority.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see Biden has moved a lot closer to that mark.
Mm-hmm.
It's to get those other people to fall in line.
Mm-hmm.
But he is the one that has made the commitment to do it, and he's done it by you see the way he allocates resources or he puts it in his budgets and things of that nature on how to address various disparities and issues, especially with African Americans, you name it, any disenfranchised individuals.
Mm-hmm.
The way he writes, the way he proposes things, and like that is far more diverse.
Mm-hmm. Now, Leonard, and my wife and I had this conversation a while back, but every president of the United States of America have to be for the people, for all the people.
That is
Which
the
one?
ideal.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, which one would you say? Which one would you say was equal across the board for all people, black, white, or whoever it is? Can't describe whatever it is. Which one would you say of all the presidents that we had? What we have 45, 46, 47, whatever it is. I think it's 46 now, 46 because Trump was 45, so Biden is 46. Of the 46 president that we've had, which one would you say was across the board for everybody equally?
Well, I will go all the way back and give Johnson and the
Mm-hmm.
Kennedys and Johnson a lot of credit
Mm-hmm.
for bringing it to the forefront and
Mm-hmm.
insisting that the issues that were being brought forth by Martin Luther King, Malcolm, and all these other African Americans who were fighting brought it to the forefront and said, hey, let's put it on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it on paper. Let's be about this business of at least tackling what has been going on from the point of view of accommodations,
Mm-hmm.
definitely from the federal government side of the coin on how African Americans were treated.
Mm.
This really those civil rights acts and things of that was the turning point in America.
Mhm,
And that's why they're so important. And you cannot skip over this as it relates to critical race theory.
mhm.
It is impossible that you would do that. You should do that in America because of this information and all of the evidence that's in your face. We
Leonard,
just passed the lynching bill,
mhm.
or
It's
let's call it the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act.
yes, yes. Mhm. Leonard, every generation seem to have had their own individual struggles, civil rights and different things. Do you think the critical race theory is the struggle of this a part of the struggle of this generation?
Yes, yes, that's what people my age
Mhm,
we should be. It's come a long way, but I think
mhm,
we should do better. We got
mhm.
to do better. I'm 50, so
Mhm.
we're after the baby boomers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm around what they used to call a Generation X or something like that. I don't know.
Old, old.
But anyway, I think we have to further insist, and I love to see my young people. Shout out to my friend Tamar, who's running in her district as a representative,
Mhm,
and the various younger people that I've had the opportunity to work with in activism who are running campaigns and winning and being the change that they want to see. Shout out to the mayor, like I said, a friend of mine, South Fulton, who just became the mayor, who came up
mhm,
through Black Lives Matter and
mhm.
things like that. Shout out to Mayor Dickens, who
Yeah.
is really, man, he looks great out here trying to look at it more balanced. How do
Mhm,
we make Atlanta better with everybody that wants to go on that ride? You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
That's
mhm,
interested in opportunities while addressing crime and
mhm.
making sure that police understand if we're ever going to get ahead, this is how you're going to do it.
Mayor Dickens, he's saying one of his promises that he's going to and Leonard, can you center yourself? You kind of off screen a little bit there. There you go. Um, he said one of the things that he's going to do moving forward, and one of his campaign promises is that he is going to have more police officers on the streets of Atlanta.
Mhm.
Is that a part of the answer?
Yes. Yes.
Explain.
If you're going to do anything, you got to be where crime is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And people can ignore it and you can scream racism all you would like, but if that's where the crime is,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the police must be.
Mm-hmm.
If you got prostitution, guess where the police need to be? On the streets, removing prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
Got drug dealing, guess where the police need to be? On the street, getting drugs out of the community. But they must do so ethically. No one
Mm-hmm.
will oppose the police doing their jobs if they do that ethically. And they have, and then police misconduct is absolutely ridiculous. That's the problem. No one is against policing.
Mm-hmm.
for the benefit of communities.
Yeah.
But if you come into a community to decimate that community, falsely accuse, harass, and violently torture the people that live in that community, that's not acceptable.
Exactly. Back in the day, and I say back in the day for a lack of a better term, but a lot of times they would say that they should get more black police officers to police black communities. Is that the answer? Or
Yes, yes, that's part of the answer.
okay, why do you
That is very
explain
much
to me why?
part of the answer because one, the people in that community need to police that community. They need to
Mm-hmm.
become part of the law enforcement. See, this whole them us has to stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Them us has to stop because them have a lot of black people coming. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of black police officers. So black police officers need to be there. When they weren't there, we had no idea what was going on. And then we knew the struggle of them when they did go there.
Mm-hmm.
And what authority? Remember, they weren't even given the same authority as white police officers
Yeah.
in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important that black police officers don't see themselves as blue.
Mm-hmm.
You still black, but you a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get rid of your color to be that.
But see, Leonard, one of the issues of it is, and you know how some folks in our community go, how we get down, man. How some
Mhm,
folks they're going to say, well, oh, look at that, there go that house in, there go that house
mhm.
in, and
Let
and
them
and
say it.
and they're going to label them in that way. It could be the best person in the world that
Right.
love the community,
Mhm,
that want to have the best for the community, and just want to make sure that the
mhm.
community run in a certain positive way. But they're gonna call it there. Look at it. They're gonna that old house.
That's how y'all do. That's how y'all do.
Yeah, see
But
now,
that's
now, now
okay.
see, some
You can
folks
be
see, and
behind
you say,
bars.
yo, see, look at this mess here. This dude here.
I'm just
Wait,
saying, bro. Your kids don't want discipline. Your kids
mm-hmm,
don't want to do what you tell them to do.
yeah,
But it is in their best interest.
mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm,
is in their best interest. So you can be mad if you want to. If Lil Rodney can't act right and he running around here breaking in people's houses and selling dope and doing whatever he want to do, he's going to be put in a cage.
mm-hmm,
I have no
mm,
problem with that.
mm. And riding could be orange, white, black,
It
polka
does
dot.
not matter to me.
Yeah, yeah, mm-hmm.
You can't
Okay.
allow people and justify them destroying your community the way we have allowed black people to do that.
I gotta ask the obvious question that people we got quite a few people that's listening right now, so I want to ask the
This is
question.
Black Issues Friday. Is we still doing that?
Black conversation, yes sir,
Black
yes sir,
conversations.
yes sir, yes
And we
sir.
welcome white folks as well.
Man,
But
more than
don't
welcome.
say nothing stupid.
508-924-3521. You're more than welcome. Please call in. We love to have your input. Now, make some people will say, and I started off that way for a reason. Some people will say, tell me the difference. You got police officers in the room, in the community. What difference does it make whether they black or whether they white, whether they orange, whether they polka dot, whether they lily stripe? What difference does it make if you want to have the justice in your community? What difference does it make whether it's a white guy or a white girl policing a black neighborhood? What difference would it make? Or what difference would it make if a black guy's policing a white neighborhood? What difference would it make?
What makes a big difference is residency.
Mm-hmm.
Do these officers policing these communities live amongst the community?
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing is being known in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know that? Oh yeah, me and him went to school together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played football together.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the same church.
Yep. Yep.
That's why that's important. Or we
Mm-hmm.
go to a big thing is the barber shop.
Mm-hmm.
If you would get the opportunity, if you're in a barber shop where you see police and sheriffs constantly coming in to get in there, these when you talk to them guys, they cool as a fan. You
Mm-hmm.
know where their heart is, and when you're having conversations with them, waiting to get your hair cut. I've
Mm-hmm.
had great conversations with sheriffs and things like that just because we go to the same barber shop.
Mm-hmm.
That atmosphere changes people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to promote these types of community building uh, type situations
Mm-hmm.
between law enforcement and the community,
Mm-hmm.
because it can happen. But we do have issues with some police who go with the flow. They don't say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They fear retaliation and all these types of things. Leadership come from the top. That's just why New Order, Gerald Rose, in this organization that I'm with, we go to law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
We make sure they have open door policies for citizens to come and voice their opinions, or to be able to know that they can reach out and contact an elected official like a sheriff
Mm-hmm.
to let them know with something they're not pleased at, or to inform leadership that officers in the street are behaving inappropriately.
Mm-hmm.
Those types of things. If you are hearing officers or coming into contact with officers that are belligerent, using a lot of profanity and just completely disrespectful, you should be able to go right on the website, public relations, pick up the phone, send an email to let leadership know what that officer is doing.
Mm-hmm.
There shouldn't be no fear in that. You got some rogue officers that actually rape and sell dope in your
Mm-hmm.
communities.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Do understand this. And I want to be very clear about that,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot more prevalent than you think. If I
Mm-hmm.
was selling dope, the first people I pay is the police.
Yeah. Get them in your pocket. Get them
So
in
it's
your.
happening, and we see them getting busted. Uh, uh, Police officers that take advantage of prostitutes. And that's why we have to have laws. We have to have a law written in one place that says officers should not be having sex with people that they have arrested
Mm-hmm.
in custody. But duh,
Why should that even have to be written?
exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
people have to get involved. You can't think that somebody else is doing what they're supposed to do if you see the evidence of
Mm-hmm.
them not doing it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Officers drunk on duty.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get right before you police.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we deal with as an organization, and trying to make sure that these law enforcement agencies are operating in our best interest.
Mm-hmm.
Those leaders in law enforcement that are responsive to us and work with us help improve those agencies.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Toussaint, good morning. How you doing this morning? Toussaint, you there? Toussaint might have just got a phone.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Tucson.
here. You know, some people work for a living.
Why would you do that? In this day and
Um,
time, in this day and
you know,
time, but why?
because you see,
See what had
some people,
happened.
everybody don't have how you call that? I see, I can't even pronounce it, let alone be one.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, it's good in its own right for
Mm-hmm.
those that qualify or
Mm-hmm.
can do it.
Yeah.
But I don't. I stay in my lane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that I couldn't.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
just saying that if I want the light bill paid,
Mm-hmm.
if I want the mortgage or whatever the case, I like to ride. And I
Mm.
like to ride pretty good.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
do
sir.
not like to walk.
Mm-hmm.
And if my car breaks down, I have the tendency to leave it where it breaks.
Mm-hmm. Diamonds in the
Yeah.
back, sun rooftop, living in the scene and against the lean. Hoo, 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 hoo. Oh.
hmm I'm just saying. Come on, back to the light, Caroline.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Tucson, we're talking about should black people, black police officers, should they police black communities? Is there, what are the pros and the cons with the black police officer policing your neighborhood if you live in a black community? What's the pros and the cons with that, Tucson?
They stop forgetting they black.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cons.
Mm-hmm.
They become, I think Leonard said, they become blue.
Yeah.
And blue is a fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they serious about it.
Yes,
The
sir.
union is serious about getting them out of what they get into. They cover for one another.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
They'll make a good church.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
That
Here
was,
we
I
go.
got
Here
sidetracked.
we go. Here we go.
They go that left turn, y'all. They go
Look
that
at that left right there. That left.
left.
That hard left right there.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's my dude.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to uppercut some of these pastors and preachers undermine, that undermine each other.
Yeah.
So let me get back to the light, Canada.
Come on now.
But but police officers, and some of them become lawyers and judges.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, tell him to,
They
son.
start off in, yeah, I'm just saying, man, they start off in the fraternity. And they say, when I get in the seat,
Mm.
I'm going to look out for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the system is so corrupt. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's nothing wrong with the system if they do it fairly.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the fraternity, they have sidebars. You know what a sidebar is.
Yes, sir.
A sidebar
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
when they call each other out of the meeting in front of everybody. And they have a sidebar where they talk about certain things that we can do instead of doing it according to the penalty, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the thing about it is, if you do have a police officer in your community that really wants to, even if he wants to do right, they ostracize him. Is that a good word?
Yes, it is. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I didn't say that you didn't know. I was just talking to you.
Oh, okay. Look. Look. I'm just trying to keep up. Look, I'm just trying to keep up, brother. Just trying to keep up. That
No,
dude,
but
man.
we all know what I'm talking about. We
Yeah.
all know the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell you what, I remember when I was coming, I had moved back home. I got a house in the country, and I had to come out the country to go and take my kid to school. I went to pick him up. He was about 5, so he was in preschool. And when I was going to my dad's house after him and wife, we was all going, and I was 54 miles an hour in a 50-mile-per-hour zone. Here come the police. Guy I grew up with was one of them. He saw them having me at gunpoint, and he kept moving.
Mm.
Because I was telling them I had to file a complaint, and the sergeant I went to school with him,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him the situation. He said I would pull a gun out of you too.
Good Lord.
I said, let me get the hell out of here. Excuse my language.
Mm-hmm.
My 3 minutes being up.
Mm-hmm. Lord Jesus. Lord. Yeah, 3 minutes been up, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My timer must be broke this morning because my timer didn't sound off on me. But we got let me go to the phone. I got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Rico calling from Anderson, Alabama, man. Welcome to a beautiful new day, everybody.
Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Get ready to take these first steps out the door and get my business started.
There you go. There you go. And Rico, we asking and tell me your heart on this thing, man. We're talking about a black police officers. Is there a benefit? Is there a benefit to black police officers policing black neighborhoods?
Oh, of course. I mean, it could be a good benefit for the community, or it could be a bad benefit, but it's always a benefit for that police officer
Mm-hmm.
because they have attained a certain level of authority, control, or power to go and intervene on situations legally. to even apprehend people or end the confrontation legally, use their taser, use their gun legally, to do a lot of things that the average person can't do legally, the authority. And so, I heard you ask the question, why is it that black people change when they get in those positions? And it ain't just officers, it's black people on any job.
Mm-hmm.
They get into a certain position and they get into a certain group or organization, a class of people, certain title, and then they start conforming to the behavior and the atmosphere, the environment, the standards of that organization. So whether it's a cop, whether it's a CEO or what they call blue collar person, it could be a gang member.
Mm-hmm.
Once you decide to integrate into a society, then you start trying to accomplish those standards. And so they're doing what black people do when we integrate.
Mm-hmm.
We conform and accept the standards of the community we're trying to integrate in, and those become our standards. And then we act accordingly because we chose to become a part of that organization or community. So little by little, the questions we're asking is what's happening with black cops? They're doing what humans do when they enter into or integrate into a new community that they are the minority in and that they choose or thrive to be a part of. That's what human beings do. So it shouldn't be unexpected. It should be expected for people to sort of change when they earn their stripes or their way into a certain community or organization. Because if they didn't conform, they wouldn't be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Leonard, that's true. That's good.
Yes, sir.
What's on your heart, brother?
Well, it's definitely a right way to do things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way I am. If it does not appeal to some people, that's we can negotiate,
Mm-hmm.
but there is work to do. Work has rules. Rules are centered around objectives to get things accomplished. That's what's important. That is what is important. What are you going to do to solve the issue? And how you going to get there? And if you're a type of person that don't believe nobody should be in charge, that nobody should do nothing, and that is, oh well, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
Mm.
It ain't just going to get better by itself. And everybody has to participate. There are
Mm-hmm.
some people who will never see the advancement of African Americans as a positive thing. There are some people who will never believe that African Americans should have authority to do
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
Those people must be defeated
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. I
Yeah.
like what my man Toussaint brought up, which a lot of people don't realize. A lot of the people, say for instance, they may be the police officer one day and be mad the next day. In a
Mm-hmm.
matter of years, earning they stripes.
Mm-hmm.
They going through. Look at Bishop, for instance. Bishop has been on every side of government and law enforcement and all
Mm-hmm.
of that. That's experience.
Mm-hmm.
People don't turn bad. They already bad.
Yeah.
So it don't make no difference what color you were.
Mm-hmm.
If you had these type of sympathies before you became a police officer, you're not going to change because you become a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people become police officers for that very fact, so they can do what they always wanted to do. They didn't change.
Yeah.
They were that way.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about conforming or anything. They're that type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are police officers that do their jobs with a lot of dignity and respect. And they will are now coming out more pushing for that. They're running for leadership positions. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
are expressing and now coming out and talking about how they've been treated within the agency and been attacked with racism.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of officers who want the best, who do their jobs with dignity and respect for people. but it's those bad officers that
Mm-hmm.
have to be turned in and removed. So you don't become bad. You already were bad. And then we
Exactly.
allowed you to get on the police force. That's who you
You know,
were
can I come
before.
in? Can I cut in right quick? Because what Leonard is saying is true. But Captain Dennis said the other day that the one reason why black people can't come together is because they can't agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice a lot of times when I make a comment, for some reason there's still always some type of debate about the words I use, and it makes it seem like that there's only one way and one way only. I know good cops that did turn bad. They didn't go in bad,
Mm-hmm.
but they got tired of being harassed and bullied. See, because they was going against the order of the majority. You do have some good cops that get killed by the bad cops.
Mm-hmm.
So it does have to do with conforming sometimes. We got to get off this, oh, it ain't his way, it's our way. I spoke on the part of the fact of the cops that do change up. That was the question that was posed. And so for the black cops that do change up, they do what human beings do, because human beings will tend to change up on average to fit into the organization that they had a drive to be a part of. They're going to do whatever they need to do to be a part of that organization. And most people will fit in because they don't have that leadership quality. See, if everybody had a leadership quality, then that probably would never be conformed. Nothing to do with conform. But sometimes it has to do with conforming. I mean, plenty of people get in and follow. They leave when they get in their own environment or they learn how to function. But plenty of people do not get into an organization and change it. They go along with the rules. Even with the Academy Awards, they want you to go along by the rules. They want you to conform and act accordingly based on how they feel you should conduct yourself. It's only a very few people that will go in and disrupt. So to say that, oh, it was automatically bad when they went in from the beginning, no, 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 no. To dismiss that I say that some people will conform, no, 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 no. It ain't nothing on this planet that just go one way or the other. You have people that are human, that get influenced and change and do some very strange things for some very strange and odd reasons. And to dismiss what anybody is saying when you got facts that people have turned from being good people to cops under pressure of not being killed or harassed. How many of those cops in Brunswick, Georgia probably did want to tell, but they finally leaked that tape? How many of them cops in Brunswick, Georgia conformed and probably went cool with knowing that those guys killed Ahmaud Arbery? A lot of them conformed and went along with the status quo. We speak. Raheem, you asked a question earlier about change, and this is what I noticed about why things are hard to change in our community. We'll go along with the status quo, and then we'll get passionate and preach and hoot and holler about the same talking points that everybody else talk about: crime and drugs in the community. We need to stop this and that. And we'll use the same talking points that Joe Biden did. But if you really want to create change, you can't keep going the same route that was going with the same people. Now, my question is, if we do really want to accept change, because I hear Ray say this a lot, and Jay, you got to start with the children. You
Mm-hmm.
have to start with the children, but you never hear people saying, I want to start holding parents accountable and schools accountable for letting these children slip through the crack of for being neglectful and not being responsible parents. But you will hear them say, well, I want to get the super predators off the street. I don't care what happened in their background that caused them to be super predators. And then you'll have black people come right back out and show and say, tough on crime, tough on crime, tough on crime. But hey, we're not robots. We got eyes and brains too. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have to repeat what other people say. We can actually look and see what the problem is and say, well, you know what? If the children were corrected at youth and sent in the right direction, then we wouldn't have to worry about super predators. But evidently, crime is being tough on crime is working because the numbers show it based on how many black people are in the prison.
Mm.
Somehow they being tough on crime, but they need to get covered.
Wow. Wow. That's good. That's
Mm.
good. We got a few people on the phone lines. Curtis, you as my next caller. Cassandra coming to you next. Curtis, what do you say to that, man? How important is it? Or is it important that black police officers police black communities?
You know, it's important that a police officer who is policing a community live in that community.
That's what's real important.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you. Back a long time ago, your police officers, they actually lived in the community. They was actually from that particular community. I guess they came up with some confidentiality or some conflict of interest type deal that if you're police and you from east side, then you'll work the western district. And if you from the west side, you work the eastern district. But I want to add to something Rico just said because I think the system as a law as a whole tends to ignore or look over that particular community he's talking about. Rico said something about the kids. You know, we mistreating these kids. These kids and these old folk, we mistreat them. Period. Ain't no other way to put that. But you know, I'm doing this play right now, and the guy that's playing opposite me, he has a line, man. When you get a chance, look it up. There's a young man by the name of Steven Spitzer. He writes about a concept called social dynamite. I ain't gonna go into what that means. Look it up when you get a chance. But everything that Rico just said speaks on the ideology of social dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick is right. Nothing is just finite like that. Like that's not how man has taken the direction of the world. Nothing is finite. Law is not finite. Like we said the other day, you got a law in the books, but along with that law, there's an addendum written so that whomever is being convicted of that law or whoever is filing a complaint on that law, there's an addendum written so that it can be defended or, you know what I'm saying? It's written so that it's two-sided. That's just the law.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we're talking about policing right now. Now, if there's a black police officer and he's been policing the black community his whole career, and they promote him or whatever, and they move him to the white community, should he expect to have the exact same treatment, or do you think it'll be something different, some differences in the police force as well as the community?
I do believe in community policing. I don't think it's going to be able to happen because of the way we live now and the way that we're spread out and you know the communities that we live in. It's going to be hard to get police officers that actually live in the neighborhood unless you do like some of the programs they have now, like giving them rent
Yes.
incentives.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If they're purchasing a home incentive in particular neighborhoods. But other than that, I don't see it happening on a large scale. But I do believe in community policing. My TV show that I wrote, that is a huge concept of the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
That the precinct is in the neighborhood. They walk mainly their beat. They get to intermingle with the community, and I think that that's an important part of policing and getting the people used to the officers and not being afraid to talk to them or come to them if they need help. So yeah, I definitely believe it. I don't know if we'll be able to do it on a large scale because of how spread out we are now.
Mm-hmm. Toussaint, as do we sometimes put pour fear into our children, the young people, when the police no don't talk to them. No, don't, come on, don't have a conversation with them. Do we pour negativity in our children in regards to the police officers?
If we have a criminal mindset, sure.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that they like to smoke their little weed, they like to do their little thing. We got our little thing that we like to do, and we don't want nobody to bother us
Mm-hmm.
while we doing our thing. And some of our little thing is illegal,
Yeah. Yeah.
and our children watch us
Mm-hmm.
do illegal things when we tell them go in the other room. But they can smell weed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Matter of fact, some of them, we reach in your cabinet and they go down the street and smoke some of your weed.
Mm-hmm.
And some parents, they think it's cute when they blow smoke in their children's face
Oh Lord.
or just pass the weed to them. You
Mm.
don't think that happens?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We got little dope head children. Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we turn them against police officers. So when they see them, they act a fool.
Yeah.
And the police is wrong, not them.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's what that's what we do. And it's not a color. I tell you, it's not an ethnic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ethnic, no.
Yeah.
They do it too.
Mm-hmm.
But see, here's the thing. I thought about something. Just suppose in a, a gated community that where they have none of us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just thinking out loud today. And you have two police officers, one of them Caucasian, and they are from their neighborhood, that
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And the new kid on the block is one of any other nationality.
Mm-hmm.
The old movies that shows him saying, "You stay in the car."
Mm-hmm.
But the same activity is going on in the rich neighborhood that's going on in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the judge's son. How
Wow.
you think that's going to turn out?
It's not gonna turn out good for you, huh?
No, it's not going to turn out for the police officer,
Mm-hmm.
the African American
Yeah, that's
or
what I
the
meant.
Asian American or the Latino American officer that's in the white neighborhood that's looking at it and say what he's doing, the judge's son, is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
He's sniffing coke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he said, look, you just sit in the car and I'm gonna handle this. You just watch.
Yeah.
Why I'm saying this, I'm just assuming. I'm not, the first letters in that word to mess you up.
Yes, sir. Quickly.
Anyway, it
Quickly.
was, but I know I'm just thinking out loud till
Mm-hmm.
the point where they are, what you call that when you Cassandra, how do you say that when you first get into the game, the initiation,
Yeah. Yeah.
the initiation, they're initiating them into the game. Some of the police officers are part of a game,
Mm-hmm.
so they initiate the new recruit that when he starts, and he always dreamed about being a police officer, that he would change things.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
they let him know then, you don't change nothing around here.
Yeah. Yeah. You have no authority. Exactly. Monique, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Monique, we're talking about black police officers. Should they police black communities? Should black police officers be responsible for black com- police in black communities, or does it even make a difference?
Um, I think we should have black police officers, in the community, as long as they, do right, by the community, because there could be some that I guess they call them rogue, you know, um, sometimes when people get in positions, it brings out who they really are,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's not a person that, stands for the community, it can get a little, rough. But usually people in the community know those type of cops. I've seen situations where, we've had some bad black cops, and and they got caught, and when they went to court, it was a whole lot of people ready to tell on them, So, yeah, so I believe that because they always say, what's that? Kinfolk ain't always kinfolk or something like that. But yeah, I do believe in black police officers in the black community.
Good deal. Good deal. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Well, it's a lot of work to be done in a lot of parts that people can play. One of the techniques that we use is that making sure that there is a viable complaint process in those particular areas that we go to. Okay, and we also do press conferences with the law enforcement as well. We assist law enforcement also with bringing perpetrators of violence and things in the community, and make pleas for people to turn themselves in as well. And this is the type of work that people have to be done. You have to organize in your community. Rest in peace, Big Brother Haroon. This is what he was doing before he died.
Yep. Yep.
This is what he was. This is what he was about. Walking those streets, letting drug dealers know, I saw you this time. Next time the police is gonna see you, and we're gonna help them get you, because you're not gonna continue to sell dope on this corner. These, we got people in the communities and watching people, young and elderly people at bus stops and things like that, to make sure no one is harassing them. That makes a difference in your community. And so you have to get involved. We don't need just black police officers. We need good police officers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whether they black or white. But we do know from our past, it must be diverse. That is what the past has taught us. You're not just going back there to read the story about what happened. What is the remedy? How are you trying to remedy the situation? The first thing to remedy the situation was, guess what? Integration. Integration. Integration has proven to be the thing that changes the course of action. So you can't talk about black people being involved and don't talk about integration.
Was this integration that you're talking about? Was it a good thing?
Of course. How you think you got folks sitting in them seats in the House of Representatives, in the Senate? How you think they wind up working down at the police, at the city clerk office, government, municipal positions? How do you think that happened? That was integration.
Okay.
Public accommodations was a big issue before, because some of you don't remember, black folks couldn't go to white folk hotels, or they even couldn't go to white folk hospitals.
But see, I also heard it said, I wasn't here during that time. I'm a spring chicken. I ain't into all this other stuff. But I also heard that it said that integration also hurt the black community.
That's what black folks say.
That's what I wouldn't expect white people to say it.
Well, where were you integrating into? What were you integrating into?
See, my thing is this, my point is this right here. Excuse me. When I say that, let me be clear. When I say that, a lot of people, they say black folks had their own businesses and stuff like that. They had a lot of businesses and different things. But when they did this integration thing, some folks have this mindset that they sugar is sweeter.
More black people own businesses now than then.
But see, I think
there is no but. That's the data.
I think you miss it. No, my thing is they think some people have the mindset.
They think
instead of buying, well, and that's what they go on. What they thoughts, they go on their thoughts. But my thing is this right here. They think that somebody else's sugar is sweeter. So I'm not gonna buy Leonard's sugar. No, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna go over there to Barry. I'm gonna buy Barry sugar. Barry got some sweet sugar. Leonard, Rico's ice is just not as cold as Jacob's. I gotta go to get some of Jacob's ice because it's a little colder than Rico's ice and make my drink colder.
And a lot of that ignorance is dead. It's dying.
I don't know about that.
I don't run into very many black people like that. But
I
things
agree
are
with you when you say
changing.
dying, but it ain't dead though.
Right. And also remember, what people think is what they think.
Mm-hmm.
You can't generalize that for
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
You can't,
That's just what they think.
but but that's still a part of the problem though, that the
No,
thoughts are there.
well, it's okay to have your own opinion,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
but you have
Absolutely.
to accept whether or not your opinion is false or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's your business.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to believe that anything has changed, hey, that's you. Ain't nobody. I'm not gonna fight you with that. I'm just gonna let you believe that, and I'm gonna move on.
But see, my thing is, I don't think it's an issue of thinking that some things have changed. Of course, it's, look around. The evidence, like you say, like you always say, the evidence is there that some things
Right.
has changed. But my thing is, has it changed enough though? Is it in
For
2022?
who?
Has it changed to everybody, to all of us?
Your ancestor would look at it and go, "Wow." Your ancestor would be, "Wow."
But my grandchildren will look at me and say, "People, that's all."
No, your grandchildren are gonna look at it and say, "Boy, I'm so glad we're a lot further ahead than they are." That's
Mm-mm,
what your grandchildren are going to do. Your
I don't think
grandchildren are
so.
probably going to go to space.
Mm-hmm. I don't concur with that one. But hold on, let me keep this thing going. Let me do this little part here. You're listening to DK Media Group and Associates. This is the Morning Glow, and what we're talking about right now. We're talking about integration. We've transitioned over to integration. Rico, let me ask you the question, brother. Integration, do you in your opinion, did it help or hurt the black community?
It did both. And see, that's the thing about life. Everything has a pro and a con. Most things do have a but, and it ain't nobody's opinion, fact, or just gonna be set in stone. Ain't nobody on here God.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody nowhere on this earth God. So what they say is concrete. I don't care how passionate or eloquent they say it. If integration was all good, and it was good on the surface, if you like having access to material things that man made, but you got to think about it. We had black people that was in House of Representatives before integration.
Mm-hmm.
We had something much better than integration on the table that got struck down by every letter, Reconstruction. We have issues right now to this day that we're still fighting.
Mm-hmm.
If integration was so good, we shouldn't be fighting.
Wow.
We shouldn't just be signing an anti-lynching bill just this past week.
Mm-hmm.
But see, when you make it money, you're happy, you can sit back and eat and just get as big as you want to, and yeah, it's all good. I'm doing better than my ancestors. So now that's where the double standard comes in, out of the confusion. Should I fight or should I not fight? Do I have anything to stand for, or does racism even exist?
Mm-hmm.
1 minute is all bad and we need to do this and that, and then the next minute, hey, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's confusing to a young child hearing that they should either be concerned about racism and things that their ancestors had to worry about, or maybe they shouldn't have to worry about things their ancestors worried about, because you got it so much better. You ought to be thankful and grateful that you can live so much better and run your AC. Don't you like turning on your AC?
Wow. Oh, that's good. That's good.
So you think about that, the desires of man and the values, and really understanding the reality of what's going on. Yeah, integration was good to a certain extent for some people.
Mm-hmm.
It made some people turn into sellouts. Then integration was bad. Integration made some people put blinders on and stop fighting and being concerned about certain things because they had access to all the trinkets and all the bells and whistles and everything that the good white man had. Oh yeah, I got opportunity now. We ain't got to fight no more. Look at Herschel Walker.
Wow.
So I mean, just think about it. You got those Herschel Walker types. You got those that's in between, and then you got those that's all the way radical and revolutionary. And each one of them think they're right.
Everybody can't be right. Everybody can't be right. Let me see. We got another call. Before I go to that, let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart, man? The integration help or hurt the community? And we got Badger on with the Badger. I gotta go to you on this one, brother. Tucson, what's on your heart?
I think it's just me. I just think we would have been better off. Leave it alone. I don't want to be nowhere nobody want me.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want me in your neighborhood, if you don't want me at your church, if you don't want me at your house, if you don't want me, I don't care if you don't want me at your job. I ain't going.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get the heck out of here. I
Mm-hmm.
said it good, pretty good this time.
Yeah,
I
you
did
did.
pretty good this time.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We force. It's like force feeding somebody. You choke them to death.
Mm-hmm.
Give them what they don't want. I mean, just me. But I remember. I'm old enough to remember when the community was actually a community.
Mm-hmm.
When I didn't have, or our family didn't have, or the family. See, we was like the house to go to. He already had a bunch of children
Mm-hmm.
because I'm the last of 12. So the children in the neighborhood knew that you could come to our house and hang out
Mm-hmm.
because you would get something. And there were some people sometimes at a certain point in the neighborhood, in our neighborhood, that didn't have a cup of sugar to make whatever they wanted, cake or whatever, or flour
Mm-hmm.
or something, or meat.
Mm-hmm.
And since somebody had a chicken or a cow and we planted gardens, vegetable gardens, just because we planted it there. Matter of fact, we had a community vegetable garden that everybody in the community would go and they would plant
Mm-hmm.
in the garden. And when you needed something, you go to the garden. Nobody was going to raise no sand with you because it was a community garden.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go to it and get you some okra. I don't eat okra,
Yeah.
but I'm planting it for you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Love it.
when we segregated per se,
Mm-hmm.
we started going to places we wasn't invited. They forced it on us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that was just me. And when we got there, we had to fight, and we still fight.
Mm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Let me I'm gonna read something here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get Leonard, read that for me, brother. This is our public assistant.
Rico, it says here Anderson, Alabama has 254 people, 99% of whom are white. How's that for integration?
Rico, you want to respond to that?
You said how many people?
254 people.
Oh man, that got to be a misprint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a huge misprint. 254 people. We Anderson might have like 23,000, 22,000, and Oxford right next to us, where I graduated from, has maybe 150 less. They like going back and forth. Oxford might be really about to surpass Anderson, and then you got Jacksonville, where I went to college at. All three cities is like sitting right next to each other. So it's like when you go from one city to another, you can't tell. So pretty much it's like Atlanta. This Oxford and Jacksonville area is considered Greater Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's more than 254 people. And to be honest with you, in our community, it's like 49% black, 51% white. But honestly, I think it's more black people. You know, we don't do right on the census.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more black people from the eye test, but it's a lot of white people scattered up in these hills, like where I live at. That a lot of black people don't live in them areas, so it could be, you know, it's almost 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what Donald said, man, because see, this is something we have to think about. We talk about terms and definitions, and then we think about the word community. Now, black people already had their own community before integration. What black people wanted was an opportunity to have a fair right to just survive. Black people just wanted an opportunity to be treated equally. Black people wanted the same justice that applied to this country that we were over here in and we established our segregated communities in, with the least amount of opportunities. We just wanted a fair shot. We didn't want to integrate into them, and so they gave us that fair shot with Reconstruction. But some people said, nah. We might have to sacrifice too much, so they took it back. Then they came back and they said, well, you know what? How integration sound to y'all? Well, what's integration? You can join us and live like we live. I don't know if we really just want that. We just want y'all to treat us family and quit abusing us and prosecute people when they mistreat us like y'all do each other when we mistreat y'all. Well, some of us want it. I sure do want to live over there next to him, next to boss.
Mm-hmm.
I want to live next to him and get me a house with a picket fence and a swimming pool in the backyard. Yeah, I wouldn't mind integrating into that society. It'd be a lot easier. We wouldn't have to do no organizing. So they fell for the trick, and then so the black people say, you know what? I think I still want to remain segregated because y'all have a value system that's sort of warped. Y'all put us in this situation from the very beginning. So how can we integrate in y'all system and think that y'all fixing to be humane when we had to convince y'all and fight y'all to be humane? Now, I'll keep your integration. We don't want to become like y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Wow.
you know what? Y'all gonna do it anyway. Come here. You don't put the children in school. You're gonna follow our rules. Y'all been crying. We're not gonna let y'all remain segregated because it makes too much sense to let y'all keep doing what y'all doing, but treat y'all fairly. So we got to integrate you into our system and then still have some type of control and manipulation in it because you really don't know our system was about white dominance and white supremacy. Now, if you don't really think about that, you ain't gonna think you changing from your community to our community. You're gonna think that your community just getting more benefits.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
And that's the way we get down.
Mm-hmm. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Morning. What a topic to wake up to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, jump in. I want you to jump in with all fours, brother. Integration. Was it a good thing or was it a bad thing? What do you think?
Bad.
Mm-hmm.
So now I just see a bunch of white people walking around everywhere now.
Mm-hmm. Where you want them to go, Badger? Where you want the white folks to go?
They can go somewhere else and leave most of us alone,
Mm-hmm.
including me.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I
Well,
just
not all white people, just the racist ones.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead, Badger.
that's most of them, unfortunately, because it's a lot of them are too ignorant to even know the difference. It's wild to me why anyone would want to adopt a system that America currently has or has had in the last 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
What they did to the Native Americans and integration, as far as that's concerned, pretty much wiped most of their culture out. So everything had to be like, all the knowledge had to be passed from grandparent to parent to child and so on behind closed doors, and they were never allowed to talk about it in public or anything like that because they'd probably disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with the black people. And it's BS. I hear people talk about, the American freedom and all this stuff, and I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we turn around, uh, if you can climb through the classes, you can start being able to have more of that freedom. But you
Mm-hmm.
got to get in the middle class and up.
Wow.
And I do agree that it's a mentality. Like, even though, I'm part of the poor class and all that, I acknowledge that the upper are going to do whatever they can to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And the best I can do is fight and share knowledge, educate people about voting, about bills, about what's going on. But people want to be like the middle class and high class.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time people are more concerned about how can I walk over you to make more than you so I can get treated better. Yeah, that's a system that people should be getting into.
Good deal.
Sure.
Oh, let me go. As a matter of fact, Curtis, are you with us? Curtis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here, man.
Okay, let me do my little pre. You're listening to DKM Media Group and Associates. This is the Morning Glow. And what we're talking about right now, we're asking a question. And the question that we're asking was integration. Was it a good thing or a bad thing? Was integration a good thing or a bad thing? Curtis, what do you say to that?
Well, that depends on what you integrate to, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
You think?
Integration in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on what you integrate to. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that it was a bad thing, but I'm not going to say it was a good thing either, because I believe that integration that's centered around assimilation is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What am I? What am I integrating to? If I already had a just and right moral code, but then I integrate to an unjust and immoral code, then why am I doing it? You know, like Brother Malcolm said it best. He said the worst thing you can do is integrate, because what's going to happen is your people are going to not learn how to be them. They're going to learn how to be somebody else. You know, I mean, we can. It's real easy for us to determine how good integration was according to the financial and economical achievements of Black folks. We could say, yeah, integration was good. But now, if we have to, the Black ones, yeah, if we have to determine, if we have to measure that upon taking a look at, for example, well, what did you have to do to get that level of economic success? Who did you have to sell down the river? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? So, you know, hold on one second.
Okay.
So, you know, it's like, man, you know, what did you integrate to?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I get I get exactly what Rico's saying. Rico's saying basically, if you sold your soul, then if you sold the livelihood of yourself and your soul, then what good is that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what good is that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So I get it, and that's a strong saying of mine.
Mm-hmm.
That here's what I foresee to happen, and I'm gonna break it down real simple. We integrated to assimilate. We assimilated, and then we turned around and we integrated from segregation.
Mm-hmm.
We integrated to assimilate. Once we assimilated, we then turned around and segregated again. We just did it in our own communities, man. Like, you know, like police problem. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Just
Mm-hmm.
take that clause out of their contract, out of their union contract, and I guarantee you'll see a totally different police department
Mm-hmm.
worldwide, countrywide.
Good
Take
deal.
that doggone qualified immunity clause out that contract. See what happens.
Mm-hmm. 508.
You ever seen that video?
Say it again.
You ever seen a video? You ever seen a video on YouTube with the old white man?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever seen it?
Nah. I don't think so. But let me get a phone number.
Go ahead, bro.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Phone lines are open. Ask the question, was integration, was it a good thing or a bad thing? How does it and how does it apply to today? Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What's up, man?
What's going on with you? Integration, was it a good thing or a bad thing?
Not forced integration.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think forced integration by the government was good. I don't think anything the government does forces in certain ways are good. I think people are already integrating at certain times, certain places. Other places weren't used to it or didn't want to. But instead of integrating, like even when we talk about Black Wall Street, that was actually integration. What people don't understand, it was not just Black people. You know, they don't understand that if you read Mr. Gurley, who was one of the guys who started it, he was, you know, he dealt with a lot of different people, whites, blacks, you know, Asians, they all were, but it was just by blacks. So even other, I think I was reading something back. It was a hotel, not a hotel, but a vacation spot somewhere that only blacks went to, and then a lot of whites started going there, and then because the thing about it, certain places whites were allowed to go with blacks, but blacks weren't allowed to go with whites.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So when blacks were allowed to go to whites, the black business went in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I could say I'm in the middle with that one. It was good and it was bad because in some places you have to, I guess, if you just go by the laws, if you make the laws a certain way, then it's cool. Like integrating schools to me were like, I just never understood. I never understood the school integration things. If you would have brought the black schools up to par, you wouldn't have to, bring them up to par, and then people will come to it anyway. And that's just what happened with, like I said, when I studied Black Wall Street. When you bring something up to par, like if you're not allowing the black schools to have certain things, but you're allowing other schools to have it, white schools to have it, then it's not right. But then you turn around and spend millions of dollars on buses and drivers and fixing the buses to take the kids to other schools when you could put all that money into that, to the school that you was pulling them from. You know?
Yeah. It makes sense. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Cassandra, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay. Great to come to you. Let me do my pre. This is DKM Media Group and Associates. When you're listening to the Morning Glow, we're here every day from Monday through Friday from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And asking a question right now. We're asking a question. Cassandra, was integration a good thing? What do you say to that, Cassandra?
Yeah, I think yeah, it was good to a degree. And my problem is, I don't know, the fact that people didn't want their children going to school with black children, the fact that they didn't want black people moving into their neighborhoods, that was sad. And we really, yeah, y'all, there's people that ain't gonna agree with this, but I went through this personally 8 years ago in Cumming, Georgia. I was staying, a friend of mine, I was staying at her house. I think I stayed at her house for about 6 months. And white girl, all white community, beautiful home. And she wasn't there. I was staying in the house. And I was leaving the community one day, and I was sitting at the gate when you go through the gate because I was trying to figure out what direction I needed to go in. And an older white man and his wife pulled up in a truck and sat there watching me, like waiting for me to leave or whatever. And so he kept sitting there. And so finally I just down the window and I said, like, can I help you? He said, why are you over here? And I'm like, excuse me? I said, I stay over here. And he said, no, you don't. And, at this point, I'm like, I'm about to cuss him out because who the hell are you to tell me I don't live over here? I'm not staying over here. So it was like, I said, sir, I stay over here. I don't owe you any explanation about my coming and my going. Well, I don't know you. And I don't know, there are no people like you in our neighborhood.
Wow.
That's what that white man said to me. Let me tell you, I almost lost my mind. See, it's stuff like that. And that was 8 years ago. So you still have that type of mentality that people don't want you in their communities. I want to live wherever I want to live, when I want to live there, as long as I can afford to live there. And that's why I believe we have to, I don't care, you can call it sports integration, whatever. Your kids getting better education than my kids, why would I not want that for my children?
Wow.
And it was proven that is what was happening.
Wow. Leonard?
I'm just listening. I don't because
I
you
got
know
some
me,
background noise from somebody's line, man.
I am an anti-segregationist. I am sorry, and my views are so extreme,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't believe in segregation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you believe in colored only water fountain, black folks sitting in the back of the bus having to take substandard services for what they were still paying regular taxes for, and all that foolishness, because that is what integration was about.
Mm-hmm.
Integration was a remedy to hundreds of years of
Yeah.
racist, white supremacy, harassment, you name it. Go find out what it was for instead of what you believe it was about. Integration was necessary for this government to move forward. Else this place would have been blew up and destroyed by now. You seen we had a civil war, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Civil War
Yep.
was about something. And to sit and say, I hear people talking about Black Wall Street. There are 10 times as many black-owned businesses that are successful, more successful than Black Wall Street. Thousands. Thousands. And they're just not in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're all over the United States of America. We have black folks that do business overseas, everywhere, do all these types. Do you all realize that was not tolerated prior to integration?
Yep.
Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that we couldn't do anything? There were black people before this, that.
So
No, there were
basically,
blacks passing for white is what they were.
integration. There's all from what you're saying. There's all pros, but are there any cons from where you're sitting and what you're saying right now? Are there any cons to integration?
That really depends on what you call a consequence. If you believe that one, for some reason, you had to change your character because of integration, that's personal.
Mm.
That's personal. What you choose to do is personal. Integration ain't about your personal issues.
Mm-hmm.
Integration was a remedy to segregation, which the South practiced to disenfranchise African American people.
Yep.
So you had to have an integration to destroy this type of government.
And that was the only solution.
That was what other one was there?
I'm the question asker, brother. Was that the only solution? Is that the only solution
Only solution to
that they
what?
could have came to
If you're not allowing blacks to participate, the remedy is to allow them to participate.
Mm-hmm. And
that's the remedy for that.
And integration is the only bridge that they had to do that.
Do you want to call it something else? What you name it?
I'm
or
asking
ask one of the other people because I'm not sure.
Okay. Badger, you wanted to say something. What's on your heart?
To me, what was done here as far as integration wasn't just allowing it, working towards change in the illusions of the descendants of slaves would have more freedom, more access, quotation marks, to things of that nature. To me, the way I look at it is it wasn't 100%. There was a lot of lies associated with it, a lot of misdirections. Because in this society, if it was truly integrated, why are people having to fight so hard? When they're putting 100%, I guess they're just, too stupid to understand things the way some people do. And that happens. So I have a really big issue with the white Christian ran government of America. And there's a lot of people I know that do, but they're scared to death to voice it. Honestly scared to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
I everywhere I look, there's women can only say so much about their bodies. So women have only so much of a voice. And they're proving it even more with some of the new stuff that they're coming out with.
I think
They almost
I think we're getting a little sidetracked, Badger. You know, we've gone from integration to
because we're not truly together as a
Mhm.
human race in this country.
Mhm.
We ain't. All
Mhm.
they did was put a whole bunch of band-aids on what they wanted to put it on and just let everything else continue because it gave them money in their pocketbooks.
Okay. Good deal. Let me Rico, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Badger telling the truth, but the thing is you know, we got to actually stick to the topic of was integration good or bad. What he's saying is true. So, you know, I look at it like this. What was Malcolm X's stance on integration? What was what was Martin Luther King's stance? Well, before he died, he said he think he led us into a burning house.
Yeah.
Went down the wrong road. I think I'm gonna listen to him. I think I'm gonna listen to them because I see what was going on. You see, first off, ask yourself a question. Black people have been fighting for rights all this time. Rights, justice, opportunity. They didn't say we want to integrate. They just said we want the right to move where we want to move. We want the right to be observed by the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights, just like everybody else. That was all we wanted. But somebody came up with integration, and I guarantee you it wasn't nobody black. But guess what? We done drunk the Kool-Aid because on the surface it looked good. But do you realize cause and effect? See, this is what I look at. When we had our own segregated communities, with the little things that we had to operate with, we made the best of it. And we actually became better inventors. We were more excellent. We praised our scholars and our moral and ethical people more than the dirty white Americans that still had this system in place that didn't want us to achieve anything. So our community upheld people of standards. We had a different ethical code. But all of a sudden, when we integrated, our leaders in our community started looking like the white successful people that got it by any means necessary. Right after integration, the dope boy became acceptable. Right after integration, the pimp became acceptable. Because we changed our standards and values, and it was forced. It was forced because once they instituted it, you had to abide by the rules whether you wanted to or not. You had to put your children in that education system that was teaching them bad history, teaching them their ways and their standards and their education. We integrated into their system that was already warped and dysfunctional from the very beginning, that was built on evil and deviance. So they didn't want to give us rights and correct it. That's the reason why they didn't want to go with Reconstruction and go and reword the Constitution. That's the reason why it's still the same. We just integrated into that discriminatory system that didn't really stand for what the word said. And we still accept it. And blindly, we still saying, well, yeah, integration worked. And at the same time, we complaining about the direction our community is going in. We saying the young people get it now because they're making more business and they're making more money than they did in the past. Yeah, guess what? They're rapping about smoking each other dead homies too. Something we never heard of. But they're doing it because they make money. See, so some people feel like just because we have more material things and better access to material things, they've been brainwashed by that. And they can't look at the fact that before we were integrated, our men were upheld in a better image. They carried themselves better. Our households had more two parents in them for the most part. Everything that was going good for our community, even in the midst of not having the same opportunities, we were doing better morally and ethically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now we're doing better money-wise. And there's a lot of women out here selling butt, selling pleasure. A lot of people out here selling pleasure and a lot of people dying behind the money being made. Well, you know what? That's what integration was so good for.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
we look at some of these things that we love and enjoy and we embrace them, and it blinds us to the true fact that we even are disputing what Malcolm X and Martin Luther King said because we love this stuff.
Mm-hmm. 508-924-35. See you, Charles. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. We're talking right now, and we're gonna transition again, but we're talking about integration. Was it a good thing or was it a bad thing? Let me go to, before I do that, Willa, you've been holding on for a minute. Willa, good morning, Willa. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. Good morning, team. I was just listening. I had just got on off my prayer line, so I was just listening to what you guys were talking about this morning.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about integration? Integration. Willa, was it a good thing or a bad thing? What do you say about it? What's on your heart about integration? Did it help or hurt us?
Well, I'll say probably both. We lost ourselves in the integration, but it bettered us to a certain extent that we wasn't missing out on what they were depriving us of. And I said that because I know I spoke quite a few times about my father being very much a part of that. Me growing up, going to a different school, because when I was in our school, within our culture, we wasn't getting the kind of education that I had gotten once I was transferred and integrated with the other cultures. It gave me an opportunity to see more than just one side. And in life we need balance.
Mm-hmm.
We in a world not just within ourselves, but we in a world with different cultures. Not saying that I need to learn or be like them, but I don't need to lose myself, yet I need to learn more. So you should always have balances in your life, and it becomes better because you educate yourself. Knowledge is so important. Knowledge is very important. So I
Mm-hmm.
believe that we learn a lot. And when you learn something, somebody said it earlier, you do better when you
Yeah.
learn better.
Yeah.
So that's just my take on that,
Good deal.
Raheem.
Good deal. Public citizen, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing okay. Good morning to you. Yeah, a lot of great comments. Integration, was it good for Black people? I guess that's like the main topic. But I live in LA, and there's so many like little communities that are separate, like all of Goldendale, California. It's all Armenians. That's all part. That's a suburb of LA. And there's other areas that are like almost all all Hispanic, and there's other areas that are all Asian, and it just seems like it's the natural way that people like to live. And a few other people said it earlier. I just don't think that's going to change. I think people have these biases, but in terms of like, I think everyone's kind of hit on it. There's pros and cons to integration, and like, what are you integrating to? I mean, just because obviously segregation is bad. Supreme Court said it's obvious. Brown versus Board of Education, separate is not equal. So it's obviously on its face. But just being next to a bunch of white people is not necessarily a good thing. What's happening in the society and the culture? Are these white people? Do they have a deep bias? Are they racist? Are they like, I don't want these so and so's living next to me? And you got white flight, and there's no benefit to that. So if you just transplant somebody from the inner city, living in the projects, slinging dope and all kinds of crazy stuff, and you put them next to me, I'm gonna have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants that person next to them. But anybody on this show, I would be lovely. You're lovely people here, So it's like, it's a matter of like who. White people are scared probably because they're anticipating, the worst situation.
Mm-hmm.
And from my personal experience, a mixed race person, whites generally treat me better than non-whites. So the bias is definitely universal.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of like when you integrate, there's sometimes problems. There's sometimes problems with the people's attitudes. Like, do they come with an open mind, or are they going to bring that bias and reinforce that bias? So it's a lot.
It's so much easier to open a door than to open somebody's heart. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Yes. I just thought about something as
Charles, I forgot about you, brother. I'm coming back to you too. Go ahead, Charles. I'm sorry, Rico. Oh man, I can't. My name's all messed up. Tucson, I get it right in a minute. I'm doing too many things at one time.
Simple, and you can go. I just want to go to say this, and you can go on. That's all in water mix.
No.
You can stir it, and you can shake it. You can do whatever you want to it.
Mm-hmm.
But does it mix?
No.
Does it ever? So one thing about what was just said is, see, now it's all right if you take people as individuals, but you when you have the mindset is all of them are like that, whatever that is, it creates a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And when you integrate a mindset with ignorant people, you have the phrase that starts, "What you doing here?" and it follows by the N-word.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what Cassandra was saying earlier about the experience that she had. They sit there and they watch and say, nobody like you is over in this community. What are you really saying? What's the real story behind what you're saying?
Only. Whites only. That's what it's about. Whites only. That's why integration was necessary, because of whites only.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, if you pro whites only, that's the only stance I can see.
Mm-hmm. So the if a person says they're not for integration, you think they are pro whites only?
What was integration about?
Wow.
Money. It was about money, man.
And if this is like, say for instance, I'm listening, but the conversation, it kind of goes back and forth between, I think we hit on culture at one point, government at one point, and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Integration has nothing to do with your feelings.
I wish I had someone that was of a certain age that could call in.
Right, like Miss Cassandra. I'm not trying to say, but that's what I was going to say next. Is that one? I wish there were some people that would call in who were coming up prior to the Civil Rights Act.
And I ain't gonna let you say Cassandra came up doing it. You ain't gonna let you say.
I think at one time some people I thought I heard her say that she lived through it.
No, Cassandra, no, man. You try to call.
Willa said
somebody remembers it. I think.
And she spoke on it.
But forced integration did not happen.
One at a time. I can't hear both of you.
They didn't make you do anything. Mm-hmm. It gave you the opportunity to do it. So you can, even to this day, you don't have to send your children to school. You can homeschool your children if you want.
But then that's not integration.
You can do whatever it is, basically, like, say, for instance, Black people at one point couldn't own property.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't just go and open a business. They couldn't do those things. They couldn't go and stay at certain hotels. Look at your entertainers, like Ray Charles and those folks who performed in front of segregated audiences. And their stance was, hey, I'm not going to perform here if it's segregated.
Mm-hmm.
Without integration, you'd still be in the back of the bus. Without integration, you still could be denied lodging at certain hotels, hospitals, all types of things. So go back and find out what integration did. Not how it made people feel, but what its purpose was.
Okay.
Now, how you used it is different than what its purpose was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hold right there, Leonard, for a second. Somebody was about to say something. Yes.
Raheem.
Yes.
This is Rolla.
Okay.
Integration during the time. I think I didn't live in the I lived in the part where it was already started.
Yes.
My father was a fighter. He always was a fighter against what was right. Now, when we went to this school and we got off the bus, it wasn't kids out there, but it was parents out
Yes.
there throwing eggs at us as
Mm-hmm.
we got off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
You were looking at parents throwing eggs at us. And I was there during the time when Martin Luther King had got executed, had died. And they rushed us out of the school right away to get on the bus because they were afraid that something was going to happen to us. It was a very frightening time during that time. My father, we didn't just live in an area where there were just Black people. We moved in an area where we wasn't even liked, in an area where there were a lot of Polish people and white people, because my father was different. He didn't want us to not get the education or not see that we deserve something different. So that's what I can remember during that time,
Mm-hmm.
how my father fought for those things. And it made us, I'm going to just say this from a personal experience. It didn't make me bitter, it made me better.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me better to understand the different cultures, but not lose who I was. I don't just stand, because I get angry sometimes when I hear constantly Black Lives Matter, and here we are killing up each other. That makes me very angry, because then I say, who does Black Lives Matter to? We're not presenting to the world that we are a better people, that we love each other, we're caring and we're kind. We're presenting to them exactly what they say about us, that we're a bunch of animals, because we can't get our young people together. So that's what makes me angry.
Mm-hmm. Toussaint,
Raheem?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please.
Mm-hmm. Go. I see you, Charles.
I
Go ahead,
have
Toussaint.
I have a problem with the we thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I step in the room, I don't act ignorant. I'm not gonna rob you. I'm not gonna smoke weed. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, that don't make you a bad person. But I'm not in a box with we.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the we.
Mm-hmm.
The we that they say that we are. Just because a person give you a bad name, that don't mean you have to have a bad name.
Mm-hmm.
When we start saying all of them are like that, and then when they say that all of them are like that, we say it's a we. It's not a we. No. Heck no. No. I ain't ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
And if I am ignorant, I'm going to go try to learn something to stop being ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about if it's a good thing, sure, maybe it was. But we conform to anything. So, okay, you start moving and you move into a good neighborhood. And why is it that the property value go down just at your house?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Because I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I wrong or right?
Well, it's amazing you said that, because I was looking at the news. I think it was Tuesday morning, and they was talking about that very situation. Say that it was two houses across the street from each other. One was actually the black guy's house. Square footage, he had more square footage, but the appraisers appraised the house across the street, right across the street from him, of greater value, even though he had more land, about an acre of land, and more square footage was in his home compared to the house across the street. And that was, and they said that what they're trying to do is do something so that situations like that does not happen anymore. Yeah, Charles, you wanted to say something, brother?
Yeah, man. Like I said, forced integration. Just because, see, segregation wasn't just. Well, I'm sorry, integration, man. When you look at, like, speaking about on the back of the bus type thing, that was just fairness. It's two different things, man. If I'm saying when you're integrating into schools, integrating into a certain society and things like that, you're forced into those things. Like, let's say, for instance, if you can't ride the bus, like they didn't put a bus on Buford Highway.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? A bus wasn't running down Buford Highway at certain times. And we know certain parts of Buford Highway is Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was it because it was Mexicans there? Now, in order for the Mexicans to integrate, what they would have to do is go force integration. They would go to MARTA and say, we need a bus running down here. We need it right now. So that's integration, correct? If I'm using the definitions that you all are saying. Now, instead, what did they do? They went and got a whole bunch of buses themselves, got their own company, and run their own bus company down Buford Highway. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So forced. The thing about it, and not only Mexicans ride the bus, now blacks and whites ride that bus also. So that's the difference between force, because economics is really the one that forces integration. And when I used Black Wall Street as an example, it was only using an example of saying that you had blacks and whites at that time before integration, when it was segregated, that used that.
Mm-hmm.
They used that place. Like my mom and my dad from Alabama, my mom from Cincinnati. They had a business up in Ohio. He's a body man.
Mm-hmm.
You think all of his customers, and you understand, I'm 53, so my dad, before he passed, he was 70 something.
Mm-hmm.
You know who came to his shop? Everybody who wanted their car done by the best person in town. You understand? You understand the people who came to my mom as a seamstress, as a tailor? Not just black folks. Everybody who wanted to come to the best seamstress in town. So it wasn't forced. They came because she was the best and the bang for their buck. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times we think that's forced by the government, because when the government, to me, forced anything, they can take it away. People were integrating already anyway. If our schools are not up to par to the other schools, then it's not fair that school is getting a certain money that we're not getting. It had nothing to do with integration. You're just not getting the money. We're supposed to get the money into these schools, but I can put the money in the bus. Like I said before, I can put the money in the buses, the drivers, the keeping up a bus and all that to move these kids to the other side of town, instead of putting all that money into that school to make it up to par.
Wow.
You understand? Wow. It's a whole bunch of things. When you talk about segregation and desegregation, you can, the line could be like really like a gray area, you know. But a lot of things that Rico said, I agree with what he was saying. But when you think about how the government do things, you understand, and how we're segregating. And who was that? Public Citizen said, what you desegregating into? You know what I'm saying? Is it a burning building? You understand?
That's good.
Because the people are going to do it anyway, man. People were going to do it. People were doing it already anyway. Some people were slower than others. And you got to remember the experience I'm talking about. My parents, that was up in Ohio, Cincinnati. And not saying it wasn't racist people up there, because there's racist people right now everywhere.
Exactly. Hold right there, y'all. Let me see. Somebody was just saying something. Who was that?
That was me. Y'all was saying that integrating into a dysfunctional system. And you know, Charles, man, like that's why I wanted to hear what he had to say, man, because y'all might laugh, but I've been agreeing with Charles pretty much all the way through all week, man. He been hitting home runs. I don't know if people have been missing it. The only time I really disagree with him is when he takes that political stance, and I don't take no political stance. But man, he's hitting it right on the head. What did we integrate into? You see, and this is the thing that I get. Integration didn't fit what we were asking for. So now with Reconstruction, we wanted them to go in and change the wording in the Constitution that made slavery okay and legal, that made racism and discrimination legal, and privilege and bias for white people legal. Did integration change that? See, Reconstruction was going to change that. See, what Reconstruction did, what integration did, was actually put blinders on people and say, well, you know what? We'll tokenize them. We'll throw them a little something and make them feel like they could be a part of what we got going on. And then that'll destroy what they got going on, because they're doing a little too good with the little bit they got. And they thinking a little bit too much. They trying to change up our whole system. They trying too much to do right. They trying too much to make sense. So what they did, they left the system the way it was, and we integrated into it. Now everything is built, or we better not have substance. I'm pretty sure they ain't got no business and this and that. But guess what? Up north, like Charles just said, they was practicing and didn't have to be made. So somebody saw it work and said, well, you know what? Them black people up north, they doing it without being made to do it because they just more morally in place, even though it's some racists up there. But black people are up there thriving. So what we got to do, we got to come up with a different system to make them think it's okay to stay where you are. But the only thing we was asking for was for rights.
Mm-hmm.
We was asking for a way to keep racism out of the system so we would have the same opportunities as everybody else, even if we want to live next to the people we have been living next to for the last 20 or 50 years or 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
The people that in our community that we share what we were growing with in our village.
Mm-hmm.
The
Good
things
deal.
we had in our gardens, we got to know our families. Everybody had their own community. So I don't think they really were anxious. Some were because they were distracted by the material access.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, people just want to be able to walk through town without being beat up, or they want to be able to look in the direction of a white woman and read a store sign and not be accused of looking at a white woman and end up dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
They
not
wanted the
integration.
police to be able to lock up somebody for killing Emmett Till and not having the justice system that's still in place and was never corrected to let these men get away with murdering somebody because they was white and privileged.
Mm-hmm.
Integration didn't fix that. But see, guess what? When it comes to people that love business and love capitalism and all this propaganda that we don't bought into about democracy, sometimes we can speak on how it doesn't work and how people are being violated, but then we'll still go back and say, the Kool-Aid I drunk tells me that democracy is better and everybody wants to come here. But y'all said yesterday, sometimes people come over here and find out, man, it ain't everything it's cracked up to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought I was coming to America to get this and that done, but whoa, look what I found out. They got a whole other sick system going on over here that's totally different than what was going on in my home.
Yeah.
Now I got another totally different battle to fight with this white privilege thing.
Exactly.
So, we have to look at the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther King and Malcolm X said what they said for a reason. Because through the cause and effect, they started seeing that true enough, integration did help us get access to better education. It gave us access to buildings that we hadn't had access to. It gave us access to a few things, but morally, as a people, as a human race, with a value system and with standards in place, that completely changed. Our desires changed, our goals changed, and it's reflecting now in today's community. And I want to go back and say this. We didn't have to go to school back then, but you went to jail. You can homeschool now. I don't know nobody homeschooled in the 1970s.
Mm-hmm. Wow, good deal. Good. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I'm glad for integration. I think it was important, and we can say the money part. I'm with Leonard. I'm with Leonard. As an activist, I've seen the changes that were made as a result of integration and things that are still happening now as a result of integration. When you could not sit at a counter and have a meal, I'll have to go to the back door to go to a theater. I have to sit in the back in the booth in the corner in the dark to watch a movie. I mean, and barely could see the screen. All of these things, integration helped to eliminate a lot of that stuff. And for me, I think it was good. If your kids are getting better schools because they're in a white neighborhood, then integration did what it should have done. It made it possible for children to get equal education to a degree. So it's just, it's all your mind. It's however you think about it. For me, I think it was a good thing. I think we would not be where we are, which is not far. We're not that far from what we were before. People can imagine that they are, but we're not. So it's just all about your perception, I guess. I think it was good because people were made to do something that they really didn't want to do, but it bettered our entire community. So that worked for me.
Wow, that's good. Curtis, Mary, coming to you next. Excuse me. Curtis, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
You know, I hear everybody making awesome points. Just to clear something up, Dr. King said to Jesse Jackson, he said, Jesse, I think I done led the lamb to the slaughterhouse. That's his exact words. Once again, we are faced with dissenting opinions, and the dissenting opinions are strictly based on like two things. One is policy, and one is procedure. You can argue both in favor. You can argue favorably for both, and you can disagree favorably for both. Because what this country has shown us throughout its history and its longevity, that once again, what is policy has not been actively displayed procedurally. So I think if there is a disagreement, I think the real disagreement is if we have actually applied the policy and the procedural situations appropriately. In my opinion, the answer is no. Because although, and I got a dog in that fight, my cousin was at that table in Greensboro. My mama was one of the first black female students to go to an all-white school here in Baltimore City. So I have dogs in that fight. You know, the whole idea is surrounded to combat ideologies that was happening prior to 1964 and 65. Black codes, yeah, I'm ready. Black codes, Jim Crow. So it was laid out as a policy to combat those things. The fact that they denied the Reconstruction, it was policy. But has that policy truly been followed? Has it? And are we in a situation again where we're going to, in a roundabout way, diminish Black success by saying that there was a collection of other folk that played a part in a process of success? We've been doing that for a lot of years too.
Good deal. Good deal. Go ahead, Kurt.
Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street. I'm going to say this. Black Wall Street was exactly what it was. It was Black Wall Street. The so-called other folks that lived there, for the most part, was poor. They were shunned upon, and or they was passers.
Okay.
That is proven. Sometimes people read things from different media sources that sometimes we don't what's the word I'm looking for? We don't take a look at the source for which the information is being provided.
Okay. Gotta move it on, Curtis. Let me go to Badger. What's on your heart, brother?
Integration was supposed to bring everyone together. To be able, folks to be able to live with it where they want to live and everything else. And one of the things I've been looking at and researching over time, I think it's something that needs to happen. I just never believed that when it did happen that it was legit, or when history supposedly says it happened. You know, there's articles and studies and all kinds of stuff that talk about there's more segregation now than there was back then. And either they're just wanting to fill people's heads up with more lies, including Time Magazine and all kinds of other places, and University of California that have been doing all these studies and things like that. Why can't every single um, place have a mixture of people living there?
Mm.
Why is it still separated? Why, like, there's so much, oh, there's going to be a whole lot of, there's going to be drugs brought in because of this, and this reason, or, oh, well, this person's going to be coming in here and, they're probably going to teach us that we're less than. And I just don't feel integration really happened the way that some people perceive it happened.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
So it's hard for me to say if it was good or bad, because even where I live, Black people live here. There's one or two places where it might be like one or two white people live in this spot, one Black person lives in this spot, and it's not, it doesn't feel equal, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Mary, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I can't comment.
Okay. 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 I'll go ask you from your schooling. What did the school teach you about integration?
What does school teach about
Yeah.
integration?
When you was in school, I know you don't graduate and everything now, but when you was in school, what did school teach you about integration?
Not much. I mean, I don't know. You only really learn about like 4 people when it comes to the civil rights movement. And
Mary, your phone is very low. Your phone is very low.
I said you only really learn about. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better. Thanks.
No problem. You only really hear about 4 people really, as it pertains to civil rights and integration as a whole. But it's not really like you don't. I learned more outside of school than I learned at school, as far as integration is concerned.
Okay.
As far as as far as integration is concerned.
Okay.
But you only really know about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, like they don't really like the top people, but the well-known people, the most talked about. It's really all you hear about. You don't even hear about the inventions, like everything that matters. Like the inventions that we've done that we don't have credit for, the inventions that we do have credit for, but still no one talks about the fact that it was us that did it. So you don't really learn school. I mean, so my standpoint's different. I grew up in a different time.
Yeah.
Because I know people aren't going to agree. I know Mr. Panda's not going to agree. But I feel that that's not really up to school to teach you about your heritage. I feel like it's something that should be known, and sure, they should probably hit it more than they do because you learn all about white history. But I feel like, and they really only talk about integration in February, let's be honest. Unless you do world history, and then cool, like you get to write an essay about it. So it's not really much either, but I feel like your heritage should be something that you dig into yourself, because school is only going to teach you what school is going to teach you. They can't really teach you everybody's heritage, because if that, I feel, yes, sure, everybody should know their heritage, and I feel like that's important, but why is that up to the school to teach you about your heritage? If that's something you want to know, then you find out. I feel like that's not. School would be so much longer if we learned about every single person's heritage, because it's not just Black people that's not being, represented in school. There's so many other heritages out there, so it's just like they should teach you more in school, I believe, but I don't think they should teach you everything. It's not up to the school to teach you that, just like it's not up to the school to teach you about LGBTQ people. I don't think that should be a school subject. I think that should be something that your parents expose you to. If that's something that, because school taught me wrong things, so I feel like it should not be up to the school, because school will teach you things that are politically correct for them to say, and some of the stuff they told me, I found out is not true.
Good
but
deal.
it's only as good as the history books is going to have.
Absolutely.
So I feel like if you want to know about your heritage, dig into your heritage yourself, so you
Mhm.
know the true heritage of us all the way back, and then I don't know. I just don't think it's up to the school.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Brother Pete. Pete, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, DKM Radio Morning Glow panelists and audience. How y'all doing this
Hey,
morning?
doing good, sir. Doing good. I gotta ask you the question, man. From where you're standing, from your expertise and learning as you are, was integration a good thing or a bad thing? Did it help or hurt us as a people?
I think integration
Talk directly into your
hurts
phone
us.
there, brother. You're a little bit low.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Much better. Much better. Yes,
I
sir.
think integration hurt us more than it helped us.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to be able to be around fellow individuals and intermingle and have these little day-to-day interactions across the fence and out in the front yard. But it also depleted us supporting our own and having our own. It would assist it in that. I would say,
Mm-hmm.
but it's what you would make of it. It actually breaks down to what you make of it. We were raised up in. I was raised up in Chicago, and Chicago was the third most segregated city in the nation
Mm-hmm.
when we were raised up there. So actually, being in the South now in Georgia, they tend to live more around each other and closer with each other, intermingle with each other more than we did in growing up in Chicago.
Mm.
Now we would do commerce with each other. We go out to the malls in the different areas, and they tended to be on the border or deep off in other ethnic neighborhoods, and you would regularly encounter, some type of ethnic assault. It was a guarantee on the way in, on the way out. Maybe not so much to your face, but as you're driving down the street at the light, somebody would have something to say. It was, got to be where it was almost expected.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Willa?
I have a question.
Yes.
So to everybody who's saying that it hurt us, would you rather be segregated, or would you rather be, obviously, like, equality is still, even if you're segregated? I'm saying, like, what would you prefer? Because if you don't want to live, like, is it because the heritages get mixed? Is it because diversity causes change? Like, why is it a bad thing? Like, why do you think it hurts? I feel like that's a weird.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with his brother Pete, if I could double back.
Yes, go ahead,
brother Pete. If I could double right back.
Okay.
When I say that I think it hurt us, I'm speaking more so about commerce, us continuing to build our own structures so that we don't have neighborhoods, but we have community where we own the land, the buildings, the businesses, we control the economic, cultural, educational, social structure within our confines where we're mingled closely together. And then that can assist us in building a base of power. So that's the vantage point that I'm more so speaking from. I would personally prefer that anyone and everyone that desires to live amongst each other, regardless of ethnicity, sexual preference, religious belief, would do so. I think that would be a positive. But America, being in this country, America has a systemic history of prejudice, classism, and this overwhelming permeation of this mindset tends to obstruct the development and the progress in those areas of different ones integrating. We have classes that can successfully integrate. So if you're a minor working class, you'll find that there are congregations and communities of working class people of different ethnicities, and they live amongst each other fine. You'll also find that more wealthy people can live amongst each other in a whole nother setting, and they do it fine. So, this is the unique experience that we find ourselves in and able to experience here in America. But then we also have a systemic problem of prejudice, and that's not just along the lines of ethnicity, class as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Charles.
You don't wear the right clothes. You don't
Mhm.
drive the right car. You don't belong over here.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Charles, I saw your hand, brother.
But what he just said about class, that's pretty much one of the biggest things, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And not even in America, but if you ask, and we're talking about America, but if you ask guys or people from other countries and other places, class is the thing, man. They do skin shade does have a big thing in it, but you know what I'm talking about, skin shade, skin color, the darker or the lighter people. But class is a big thing also. And when you're talking about when everything he just said, the guy just said, I agree with a lot of it. It's about economics to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to be fair. And if like I said, I'm in the middle, not really in the middle, but with desegregation, it wasn't 100% great for blacks.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing is 100% great for anybody, pretty much. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't say, you can give your opinion, and that's understood. An opinion is an opinion. But if you look at certain things, man, it did take away from black businesses. A lot of it did. It did. When you look at the Asian community right now in America, which are the richest community, how are they? They seem like they are segregated in a lot of ways, and they force themselves to be segregated in a lot of ways. You understand?
By choice.
By choice.
Mm-hmm.
By choice.
Mm-hmm.
And they are the richest people in America. Let's not forget that now. And it's not that money is everything. It's just that we know how you make things. In order for me to help you, I can't help you broke.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Even Jesus said, "Give Caesar what's due to him."
Yeah. Good deal. Good deal. Let me see. We got a few people that's actually coming to the phone. And Rico, I'm circling back around to you, brother. I know you got something on your heart as well. But let me go to Kay. She's been listening for a minute. Kay with an E. Good morning. How you doing this morning? Kay, are you there? I'm trying to find my mute button.
I gotta unmute the phone.
I knew what you was about to say. I already knew. What do you say to this, Kay? Integration. Was it a good thing or a bad thing, or how did it affect us as a people?
I'm gonna say it was needed. It was definitely needed, but I don't think that. It's not even really. I don't know. We still got a lot of racism, and we still got a lot of mixed relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, lost.
Wow. Okay, Rico, you had something on your heart, brother?
Yeah, because we have to, it's been quite a few people came on and said pretty much what I said. There's a positive and a negative to everything, pro and a con to everything, the cause and the effect.
Mm-hmm.
So when you really understand what integration did, it gave us access. But like Pete says, because I come from, the city that I'm from, there's a small black town called Hobson City, nestled in between those cities. That's the first black city in Alabama and the third in the United States. And right now, to this day, we speak on black success and black entrepreneurship. Where during segregation, there were a lot of black entrepreneurs because black people couldn't shop on a certain side of town.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, I see pictures of the growth of my community as it was being recognized as the first black city in Alabama. And you can see the progress, slightly, you can see the progress,
mm-hmm.
little by little, because that economy was staying in the neighborhood. So then all of a sudden, black people got access. You can come and spend money with us and we won't beat you down. Come on and bring your money to us. So we did that. Now you look at my community now, there ain't too many stores open. We quit shopping. I said it on a documentary. When we walked past those white stores and seen that they were in there having fun and listening to music and dancing. That was like Six Flags us. We couldn't wait to be a part of it, even though we still had fun in our communities with the less that we had. So now here we go. After segregation, you got the black cheerleaders and the black quarterbacks that go to the white schools, and guess what they got to face after integration and access? Anti-black racism. You're not qualified to be a cheerleader, nigga. We ain't having no black quarterback. Matter of fact, we're going to put you on the line. So a lot of those people that had talents and skills had to lose all of that talent and skill that they had because of their skin color still, even though they were integrated into that system that didn't fight anti-black racism, to a system that still didn't fit the Constitution. They gave you access to something that they didn't fix. They said, well, yeah, you come on to this school and get this better education. But we ain't going to stop the Klan from coming up here and wanting to beat y'all up on your way home. Matter of fact, you might be the smartest in the Klan, but we're going to say that the school you came from, we're not going to count these grades because this teacher was this and that, so now you're not valedictorian. But guess what? You probably should have been valedictorian at that majority white school that you integrated to. That everybody spit on you and you still did everything you could do. Or maybe when you were the first to integrate the University of Alabama. And yeah, I got the right to go to the school now, but guess what they experienced after that? Integration didn't fit that. Integration didn't fit somebody saying, well, he's more qualified for the job, but I don't like no black people working up here. We need affirmative action. Well, we gave y'all integration. Well, we're going to give y'all affirmative action, now we're going to take it back. See, that's what integration did. It put bandages on a system that made another system be able to still maintain momentum and survive. See, we asked for rights. We asked for what the Constitution guaranteed. And that was all they had to do was say, well, you know what? We fishing to make the practice of anti-black racism illegal and prosecute people. You wouldn't have to integrate nothing. Everybody would have just had to change the rules and let us go where we want to go, as long as we acted orderly.
Wow.
But instead, they created a system and a program and made us buy into it and said, we're going to give you access to our stuff that we've been keeping y'all from and access to our buildings. But the things that we don't want y'all to have access to, we're going to kick y'all tail.
Wow.
Every time you come here. You think you're going to get smart and try to go, come on up in here and watch us throw you in the trash can head first and put your head in the toilet. And ain't nobody going to do that because the coaches and everybody cool with it.
Wow. Wow.
That's what integration did. See, I know some of these people. And some of these people are still out here fighting the battle right now, telling people my age, you know what, y'all done drunk the Kool-Aid because y'all living the American dream. And by the time you finish living the American dream and you start seeing people knees on their necks and people getting off for killing people in Brunswick, then you start back saying the fight is not over. But what integration made people think or believe is that the fight was over. When really and truly, it only put a bandage on it and appeased us. It tokenized us. Once again, it gave us access to spend money with them and get them our money while our stores and schools closed down.
Wow. Good deal. Good deal. Leonard?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
No, not a whole lot. Just listening. You know, I do what I do, and I do it in full confidence that it is the right thing to do. You know, also I'm a Yankee. I don't have no love for the South as it relates to its history and those types of things and keeping things and maintaining the status quo of disenfranchisement of my people. I just don't. So, you know, it is what it is. Those of us that are fighting for better are going to keep fighting. That's because that's what we do. Try to make things better. And we keep pushing so that our children have access to whatever it is their heart desire. Not what some people think black people ought to have.
That's
your
good.
ways are your ways are not my ways. So all this we, us, our, no, it's not that. You know, because everybody is an individual. We fight against a common enemy. That's what we fight against. The common enemy. That's the purpose of the fight, is because there's an enemy. that's trying to hold black people back and keep black people from succeeding.
Good
Every
deal.
person that has stepped on the stage in this movement is clear about where we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we keep fighting each and every day.
And this is the part of the broadcast I don't like doing, but I'm going to do it anyway because I was told by everybody on here to do it. If you want to support the broadcast, if you want to support this broadcast, this quote unquote, this ministry, you can do so by going to our PayPal at www.paypal.me/DKM radio. Or you can, I see it, Charles. Or you could go to Cash App and a Cash App $DKM radio. Don't like doing that. I don't do it every day like they say I should, but you know, I just put it out there. And like I said, I got to scrolling across the bottom.
Can you stop saying that, please? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Hold on now.
I'm glad you cut him off.
Wait on
Because,
that.
no, if
I
people
wouldn't.
don't support you, people don't support you, okay? Don't block your blessings.
And they won't know how to support you if you don't tell them.
Amen.
What is going
So
on around here?
they jumping on you because you need it.
What the what? My daughter came out.
Because
The gate.
somebody called me. Somebody called me trying to support you because they didn't have a Cash App and they had something else. So I bet you they figured out how to support you though.
Mhm.
And this is the reason why I told people yesterday to make sure they also go and support Willa. Go and support everybody doing something positive.
Mhm.
That's what you got to do. You can't keep talking about it. Support it.
www.
That's what we're talking about.
Put this on your
Was
Twitch
that your
and
daughter?
Facebook.
Was that your daughter who got on you?
Yeah, she came.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
she
was
came.
class. That was epic.
She came
Yeah,
out
she
the
got
gate, bro.
Pooh Daddy Bear, all that. Yeah, gotcha. Haha.
Anybody have? Charles, I ain't fooling with you, man. Anybody have anything? Anybody have anything else before I transition to another topic? I want to talk
Tell
about.
them one more time with confidence how to support you, please, and then we can go.
Okay, I guess that's what we're about to do. On PayPal, you can go www.paypal.me/DKM radio. That's the PayPal. www.paypal.me/DKM radio, and Cash App is $DKM radio. There you have it. Okay.
Hey, Raheem, I want to say something because I don't want people to think that we're on here saying that we were against integration because we definitely wouldn't want them to go back and repeal it.
Yeah.
I think what we're saying is that it didn't solve all the problems like we thought it did, and some people thought it did, and they dropped the ball and started living their best life and chasing the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we are back we were trying to pick up this fight. You know, Representative John Lewis kept the fight going all the way till he took his last breath.
Mm-hmm.
That means integration wasn't enough. It didn't cover all the bases. So I'm gonna say integration wasn't a bad thing all the way around. It hurt our communities as far as economically, but for the most part, it didn't do what we needed it to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why we still fighting anti-black racism right now. It wasn't enough. It was just a band-aid.
Absolutely. Now, asking another question. Transition and change just a little bit. A lot of times, the war on drugs, has been going on forever. I can probably go back further than that, but with Nancy Reagan, just say no. So I'm asking a question. Linda, I'm gonna start with you. If police pull up on somebody buying drugs, naturally, obviously they may be addicted to it. Who should be arrested at that time? Should it be the dealer, the person buying it, or both?
Both, because both are in the commission of a crime.
Mm-hmm. See, my thing is, and see, I understand that part, and I do agree with that part, but I think the person that's addicted, I don't think jail will be the proper place for them to be. I think they should be somewhere where they can actually try and get some help to get them out of the situation. So going forward, we don't have to worry about that issue again. Now, the person that's selling it, they made a choice, or maybe situations and circumstances put them in a situation where they had no choice.
Is that just your opinion as it relates to drugs? Pretty
much.
Okay.
Like I say, some people, people tell me if a person is a drug dealer, they're a drug because they want to be. No, sometimes certain situations and circumstances put you in a situation where that may be your only option. But
You know my issue with that. I wish I
yeah.
could have been a great drug dealer too, but that just wasn't something I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
it is like I asked you that one particular question
Mm-hmm.
about is it just related to drugs or not? Because just because I like tail and I go
Mm-hmm.
down there and ask a prostitute
Mm-hmm.
for some tail and she's selling it, ain't both of us wrong? Doing
Absolutely.
something wrong?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But see now, see that's another layer. What if you be like what was that Justice I think it was, say he had a sex addiction.
I don't care.
He said he got a sex addiction.
Well, personally, I don't care.
And so
I'm not making. I don't care. Personally, I don't care.
He said
like I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Some people using your logic, everybody is okay.
No, I'm just saying, sometimes people need help, man. Sometimes
need
folks
some help. Come on, man. It's about desire.
Hey, man, don't start this Wednesday mess again, man.
Please, Charles. I'm just saying. You made it like just go and let them go. They all right. You just go and let them go. Just go.
No. I ain't say let them go now. No, I didn't say let them go.
What do you mean, bro?
I say that a person that's addicted to say crack or opiate or whatever it is, putting them in jail may not be the proper answer for that.
I'm addicted to a good time.
Well, you ain't no rehab for that, Leonard.
I'm just saying. Anybody can say they addicted to something, bro.
I'm just saying that if that police
Your Honor, I'm addicted to robbing people.
No, see now
I'm addicted to breaking in houses. I'm addicted to shooting people. I'm addicted to everything I like to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes.
Really, bro? Really?
But addictions are real. Addictions are real. Cassandra, go ahead.
I'm gonna control myself, Charles.
So I was on a Zoom call a couple of days ago with several Black women that were sheriffs, judges, solicitors around Georgia, and one of the things that we focused on in the conversation was diversionary programs for the people, the drug addicts, the ones that are addicted to drugs. Because I agree with what, I don't know who said it, but jail is not that's not a cure for someone that's addicted.
Absolutely.
And the thing that really bothers me the most is that disproportionately, as usual, Black people will go to jail as addicts, whereas white people are diverted to drug programs. And I know this firsthand because I work with a lot of white girls when I worked with the prison system, a lot of white girls that were drug addicts. Their first thing was they were sent to diversionary programs. They didn't come to jail first, but they kept, doing what they were doing. But their first option was diversion programs. We don't get that opportunity a lot. So the women on that Zoom call who are in that business, their main concern is setting up diversionary programs throughout Georgia for people that are addicted.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing.
Exactly. And see, and that's the way I feel about it too. And I get Leonard's point of what he's saying, because anybody could say that they're addicted. But if you pull up onto somebody and they're actually, you can look at them and tell, man, you got a problem, bro. You need some help. You need some help. And I know that Judge Mathis, I look at he's one of my favorite TV judges. He's a real advocate of getting them some help. Get them some help. I see you to the program right now. because you need some help. Let me go to Pete. What do you say to that, man? What should happen in that instance? Should both of them go to jail? One go to jail, or what? How do you weigh that?
Well, it starts out with the individual responsibility. If you choose to use, sell, distribute, get involved, number one, it's a choice. We can start breaking it down so they were in poverty and they just wanted to make money. We can go in all variations of however you want to do it. But the fact of the matter is, you can't take the personal responsibility out of it initially. I don't think anybody needs heroin or cocaine or, necessarily to live. Now we break it down into pain relievers and things, and it can turn medicinal, right? Okay, I get that part. Glaucoma, some pain, some cancer patients, THC helps with the pain. Okay, I get that. So what are we dealing with? Are we talking about an illegal setup enterprise that's distributing what we classify now as an illegal substance, and now that's a problem in the community? Or is it a problem because the government isn't making money off of it? Do we need to just legalize all forms of what we call drugs and tax it? And then would it even be illegal anymore? So see, I mean, how do we want to actually look at the conversation in the subject matter? You initially said the war on drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. It can't be a war on something and you not actively fighting it.
Come on.
All you doing is putting a Band-Aid on it and responding to it in the after effects. If it's a war on drugs, we mount up and say we the hate everybody committee. I'm pretty sure a force would be mounted to shut you down immediately. It wouldn't be 2 or 3 people in a room, researching information and looking up names. There'd be a whole team of folks all over the country coming to shut you down.
Exactly.
So, if that's your up,
Good
drugs
deal.
is a joke.
Absolutely. Rico? Rico, you there?
Yeah, let me get off mute for a second. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm right here. Get off mute. What's going on?
What do you say to that, man? The police officer pull up on somebody. There's a drug transaction going on. Should he arrest the person buying the drug as well as the dealer, or should there be some kind of alternative for the person that's addicted?
Well, they should it's an illegal drug. They should do like they do in Washington. Depending on the type of drug. Get them some help, because in Washington they line you up to go and get some counseling and therapy and stuff. You have to go to these classes. Get them some help, because the addiction is the problem. If there wasn't any addicts or abusers, there wouldn't be any need for a dealer. But that demand and supply thing is what creates the drug dealer. I mean, like the drug dealer can't force nobody to do no dope. But the dope dealer could come out looking for some dope and somebody say, well, you know what, man, I'm just letting that money get by me. Because we are in America and money is king.
Yeah.
So with the opportunity, money over everything. Sometimes people say, well, you know what, man, in this day and time, anything goes as long as I get that money. So, they choose to lock people up, that are doing the drugs without thinking about the conditions that created that drug dealer and the user, the abuser.
Exactly.
And then they selectively choose what drugs they want to go out. See, the most addictive drugs and the biggest dope on the market is sugar, and then alcohol and cigarettes. But they're in denial about that. Oh, what about the prescription drugs that they legally prescribe people that really don't even need some of them? I can remember when Tramadol was taken off the market as a narcotic. It was scheduled down to not being a narcotic. And they prescribed it to me for something that I really didn't need it for. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm starting to see a lot of people get this Tramadol prescription for everything under the sun. Like they said, it was diagnosing with everybody with coronavirus, but they were sick with other things. Well, I was seeing people sick with so many different things, but they had one thing in common. For some reason, Tramadol was real hot. I said, well, you know what? It's starting to seem like that might be a narcotic. No, it's a narcotic. So then I had a friend in Australia tell me, man, don't take that. That's a narcotic. I said, huh? He said, yeah, that's been a narcotic over here for years, man. Wow. So then I looked it up and saw that once upon a time in America, it was a narcotic. Then they scheduled it down and made it not a narcotic. And somebody found a reason to say, well, you know what, man, let's go ahead and make us a little money and put this back out on the market. And they created some addicts again, along with the OxyContin. That was just another way that they created more addicts.
Wow. And
now these addicts are looking for dope on the street. So, when you start talking about who creates the conditions of an addict and then the drug dealer, see, everything has a cause and effect, like I said earlier. Everything has a cause and effect, and then you have demand and supply. So
Mhm.
when you have people getting addicted by sugar, cigarettes, alcohol, and prescription drugs legally, but then they have to go out on the streets and get it to get that fix because they can't get it legally anymore. The government ain't dealing to them no more. Then somebody else sees an open market. Now the government want to go and lock people up for doing the same thing that they did.
Mhm.
So you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's on the surface. I agree with what everybody is saying, but once again, we have to dig deep into the system that allows this dysfunction to continue, or that even created it,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
wonder if we are actually prosecuting or going after the real drug dealers. Because there's a lot of sugar out here being sold.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have anything they want to say on this topic right here before we move on? I got one more something I want to cover.
Hey, let me say
I
something
have a
right
lot to
quick.
say, but we can
Go
move
ahead.
on if you want.
Okay.
Let me say something real quick, guys.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think I know in Georgia. Well, I know in certain areas of Georgia they do have programs, but you do have to. And I think it was Cassandra. Somebody said that some people get to, like what she was saying, whites get to go on programs when blacks don't, and that might be true, and that also might come from the lawyers too.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? The lawyers who ask them or stuff like that to, hey, put them on a program. And if you can't afford a lawyer, a public defender is not going to let you do that, more likely. But I know in prisons, in certain I think you call them county prisons, they do have those programs in Georgia. But reason why I was laughing, man, because I do agree with what Leonard was saying.
Mm-hmm. Cut it out, man. There you go.
I ain't trying to start. I was just letting you know, man.
Yeah, you trying to start something. Look at look, I'm one my mute button, and I gotta put my mute button on you, Lord Jesus. But listen, we're ready to go. We got a few more minutes before we get out here. Anybody got anything else I want to say to this before we move on? Okay, good.
Yeah, right.
Okay, quick version, Kurt.
You know, if you really want to talk about a war on drugs, man, let's call a spade a spade. It's a joke. It is a joke. It was just another thing used to lock up black folk, lock up inner city poor folk, or lock up folk as a whole. It was a methodology used to stimulate the prison industrial complex. If y'all don't believe what I'm saying, please somebody tell me why ain't nobody from the Spicer family locked up. Just name. And they got to keep over 10, I think it was $10.6 billion. They only had to pay back, I think it was $2.46 billion. That wasn't even paid back by the family. It was paid back by the company, man.
Wow.
You want to have a war on drugs? Have a good day, son. You want to have a war on drugs, man? You start locking up some of these major distributors. Start locking them up. Go in the halls of Congress and hand out blank indictments. Only thing it say on the paperwork is you're being indicted for illegal substances, controlled substances. And watch and see how cats start flipping, man. Come on, we all seen The Messenger. We all seen the movie The Messenger. We all seen it. That died because he put it out there to the public. Like, look, this war on drugs is a joke. It's a fallacy. We watched Reagan do it. We watched Reagan trade with the contracts. Come on, man.
Exactly.
I get it. You know, it's, you don't want to be involved in a criminal activity, don't be involved. But if you make it so that the only involvement for anybody to come up is to consistently violate the rule of thumb that you have laid out, and then you do not carry out that rule of thumb or that law does not apply evenly to the people or to the masses. Come on.
Good deal.
You know, it's crazy how you get the war. You know what I realized, and I just
wrap it up, Kurt. I gotta get to my next section. I want to get to my next section before I get out of here.
Every time folks in this country want to wage a war that takes you off of what's really going on, they always wage a war against something that they don't have a face to. That's all I'm saying, man. I ain't got nothing else.
Good deal. Curtis. I'm sorry, Charles.
Yes, sir.
Where you at, man? We ready to do. What would you do? Today's Friday, so what would you do if? Charles, I'm gonna start this thing off with you. write the name down so I keep track of who I've talked to already or who said something. Charles, I have a what would you do if are you willing to answer my question? Can I ask you the question?
Yeah, man. Don't start.
Okay, Charles, $10 million. $10 million. Yes, sir. Yeah, I got your attention. $10 million.
I need it. I need it.
Okay. You would accept the $10 million, right?
All right, but what I got to do for it?
You have to be Biden's national spokesperson.
Biden?
Yes.
Yeah, for 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can say what I want to say.
No, you got to see what they tell you to say. You're his national spokesperson. You're on his team. You're the person.
Yeah.
The camera's gonna be on you. You're gonna be like that. What's that lady name that was with Trump?
The little redhead girl that's with with Biden right now. Yeah, I do it.
Okay.
10
So
million, man, I'll straighten them out. Yeah.
So you will be so you will be for $10 million. You will be Biden's national spokesperson.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Okay. Now
I do it for free, but I'll take the 10 mil.
Okay. Good deal. Now you got Leonard, you got Badger, you got Rico, Brother Pete, Curtis, my daughter Mary, Cassandra, Willa, Public Citizen, and Kay. Who are you gonna pick? Who you going to? And you got to ask them, what would you do if?
Rico.
Rico. Charles Haber, what would you do if? Can he ask you the question?
Let's get it.
Go.
No, wait. Okay, Rico.
Okay.
Hey, that won't change it. But anyway, I gotta ask him, what would you do if?
Yeah.
I gotta ask him, what would you do if?
Whatever you at, what would you do? What would you do if? Yeah.
Or is it still about money or what?
No. Whatever you want to ask. What would you do if? You create the situation and the scenario.
All right, Rico, what would you do if you found you got the money on my mind, so I'm gonna say that. What would you do if you found $1 million unmarked bills in a bag right outside the store?
Outside of where?
A store.
Oh, man, that's a good question, man, because, a lot of people say, man, I'd have kept that money. And actually, I think somebody gave Nelly some money back, and he didn't get him but a couple of $100. And I think they found over 6 figures for him. So, sometimes, man, you think to yourself, man, ain't God good? He will do it, won't he? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Find us people. I believe in miracles. This thing just appeared out of nowhere just for me. I ain't gonna refuse no blessing. So that answers your question, but deep down inside it might depend on how I feel at that point in time or where I am, because I might be worried that somebody trying to prank me or bait me up or something. You know what I'm saying? So I might stand around and look around and see if I can spot the cameras or something. But after a while, you know what I'm saying, I think I might have to go ahead and run with that million.
He's on down the road. Go, Rico. Who you selecting?
Man. Let me think, man. I really don't have any questions to ask anybody. Let me see. I sort of want to ask Charles this, but I already sort of know that.
No, you can't ask me.
I'm gonna go to Dawn.
Tucson.
No, you know what? I'm gonna go to one of these women. I'm gonna go to one of these women. I'm gonna just get a little silly for a while. Let's go to Cassandra.
Okay, Cassandra.
Yes, sir.
Rico, what would you do if?
Yeah, I knew. Why did I know he was gonna call my name? I just knew it. Okay.
Can he ask you the question?
Go right ahead, Rico.
Well, go ahead and finish your thing, Raheem.
No, can he ask you what would you do if?
Yes.
Okay, Rico.
Okay. What would you do if Donald Trump came and offered you $10 million to be his next sweet thing?
Now you trying to make me cuss words that no need to be heard on radio. Now you about to make me go flat crazy asking me a question like that. 10 million. I wouldn't do it for 50 million. So wow. No, that was not gonna happen. That's a good one though. That's a good one. It ain't gonna happen.
He said, look, don't you want a taste of this freshly squeezed?
Raheem, I'm trying not to cuss today. I made a quota. I'm not gonna cuss today, but one
Wow.
time, and I
That's
don't want it to be this time right here.
okay. Okay. All right. Good. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Thank you, thank you.
who
No,
who you going to, Cassandra?
okay, so I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to Willa.
Willa, are you there?
Hi.
Cassandra.
Yes.
Cassandra want to ask you, or what would you do if? Can she ask you?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
No problem.
Cassandra.
Okay, Willa. So, what would you do?
And then there's a pause. Cassandra, you there?
Yeah. I was trying to readjust this question
Mm-hmm.
because of who Willa is.
Okay.
What would you do?
Cassandra have nothing. Cassandra have nothing.
I have no, because I can't ask it right. So no, I don't want to ask Will a question.
Okay. Who you selecting?
I want to ask Leonard a question.
Okay, Leonard.
So Leonard, I'm going to go back to.
Hold on, Cassandra.
Oh, you got to ask him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leonard, Cassandra want to ask you, or what would you do if? Can she ask you? Okay, Cassandra.
Okay. So Leonard, what would you do if the same question they were asking me, if Donald Trump asked you to be his sweet thing?
Good Lord.
For $10 million.
You asked him. Ooh.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Oh,
Without a doubt.
I'm sorry, Leonard. It's Friday.
Look, I would in a heartbeat.
It's Wednesday again. All week.
It must be. Yep.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that'll get me close enough.
Wow.
So, soon as that check is cashed, baby, it's going down.
Wow.
Man. So you're gonna put them pumps on for them?
Oh yeah. We now the next day is gonna be unfortunate for him.
Man, I drive up these little stilettos.
That's the thing about it. You wouldn't see it.
Oh boy, he up in there some stilettos, man.
Hey, that's the thing about it. You would never see anything
with lipstick on.
Lord, I am unscrupulous when taking care of a
come up with $10 million, I already got the picture in my mind, man. I already know what's gonna happen.
Yep. Somebody, Raheem, here go a donation to DKM. Leonard, where you get this money from, man?
Don't even worry about it.
You don't want to know. You don't
worry about it. Don't worry about the wrong thing.
Leonard, Lord Jesus. Leonard, who you selecting?
I think I would select Mary.
Mary? Mary, are you there?
I am here.
Leonard want to ask you, or what would you do if? Can he ask you?
Sure.
Oh Lord, you don't know what you just agreed to.
What advice would you give any young person that was interested in signing up for the military?
Well, so I would first ask why they want to join the military, and if their reasoning wasn't good enough, I would tell them don't.
Fair.
And that is all.
Okay. Mary, who do you select?
Wait, did that satisfy? Was I good enough answer?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Who would I have? Who's left?
Okay. Let me see. You have Rico's been asked. You have Pete. You have Curtis. You have Willa. Willa has not been asked. Public Citizen, K with the E, and Badger.
I'm gonna ask you since you think that nobody can ask you no questions.
Oh Lord, she want to ask the question. Ask it, Lord Jesus. Ain't no telling. What I'm about to go. Yes, yes, you can ask. Go ahead.
What would you do if you were the first civil rights leader?
Wow, wow, that's an excellent question. I don't know. What I would have to do is evaluate the whole situation, what it is I'm up against. Not only what I'm up against, and what's the present situation is at that particular time. What targets should I put before me first? What targets should be placed before me first? Um, and how do I hit the mark on those targets to move everybody forward? Does that make sense?
It does indeed.
Okay. Did I satisfy your question?
You certainly did.
Well, thank you. Well, look at there. Why, look at there.
Welcome, Sugarfoot.
Go ahead on
Go do your job now. Who's the
Okay.
next person?
I'm gonna actually I'm gonna go to Curtis. I'm gonna let because I already asked him out of your question. I'm gonna let Curtis pick who he want to ask. Curtis, you there? Curtis,
Yeah, I'm here.
okay. You
I'm
can
here.
you can ask anybody what would you do if?
Leonard.
Okay, Leonard just answered one, but go ahead.
Sure. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I'll go. If Rico answer one, who's left?
Let me go down. You got Badger left. You have let me see. Let me go down my list. Brother Pete is left. Cassandra actually had a question asked
I have
already.
Brother Pete.
Okay, Brother Pete, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Curtis want to ask you, or what would you do if? Can he ask you?
What you got, brother?
He said yes.
Brother, being a man of fine haberdashery, what would you do if Will Smith would have walked up on stage and smacked you like he did Chris Rock?
The natural, my first initial response would probably be
He said, "Woo."
the same scenario, same setting, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I would have handled it the exact same way Chris Rock did, with class. It's too much on the table, too much involved, and that's too public, and it can go sideways in many ways. So I would have definitely had to take the humility route and show nothing but pure class. I would have did the exact same thing Chris Rock did, but now on the stage. But once we got off the stage after the function, I'd have put that dude in the hospital.
It'd have been a mystery how Will Smith ended up in the hospital. We don't understand what
They'd
happened.
be looking for him. They wouldn't be able to find him.
But how do you control, Pete, in a situation like that? How do you control that reactionary gene that most people have? Because somebody slap you, there's a reactionary gene that's gonna pop in, and before you know it, you don't put that 3-piece on them.
Well, it's called self-control.
Okay.
See, I often talk about that. Individual responsibility. That's a part of it. Self-control. It's up to you how you respond to anything. Nobody makes you angry. You allow yourself to become angry. You're always in control of yourself.
Exactly. Good deal. Well, Pete, you got a few people left. You have a Badger. You have who else you got there? Willow. Yeah, Willow has not been asked the question. You have Willow, and you have Public Citizen and K with the D. Who you select?
Curtis hasn't been asked one either. You just asked one, but he hasn't been asked one.
Yeah, Curtis hadn't been asked a question either.
Right. So let me flip it right back to Curtis and ask you the same question, my brother. Can I do that?
Curtis?
Yes, absolutely.
Hold on, Curtis.
Absolutely.
Pete has a question. What would you do if? Can he ask you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Pete?
Yeah, exact same question he asked me. I'm flipping it right back at you, my brother.
My man. I'm sorry, y'all. My wife would have been calling the Mayflower truck. because I'd have messed up the whole bag. We destroyed the stage. The front 3 rows would have been gone. And I'm a passive dude, but I know me. I can take verbal. I can't even fathom somebody putting their hands on me, especially putting their hands on me to break my jaw.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud Brother Pete. I thought about it too. I told myself I would have got with him. We'd have went in the bathroom. I caught him at the after party. And I was sitting around talking to some of my homeboys, and they like, Kurt, we know you. If it would have been verbal, but once he laid his hands, I'd have just whole bag, brother. I promise you, I'd have messed up the whole entire bag.
Exactly. Let me do this, and we're gonna open up the door to everybody else because we only got a few people left, and I don't want to because these people hadn't been asked yet. Willa, I'm gonna go to you, and the floor is open. You can ask anybody you want to ask.
No.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yes. Who you
want me to ask the question?
Yes. Who do you select?
Who? Badger.
Willa has a question for you. What would you do if? Is she
Bring
ask
it
you?
on.
Badger. Okay. Badger, you got a daughter and she's 18 years old. And she came to you and she asked you for advice about a man that she fell in love with. He's 50 years old and he's black. What would you say?
Wow.
That's
a fun one. Well, for one, I don't think God would curse any child to be for me to have a daughter, because I'd be in prison. A lot of it, honestly, is going to depend on how they truly feel about one another, because I don't have a right to control the heart, and in my opinion, no human does. And if it's true, I'm going to support it.
That's good.
Now, if it's over, she's only doing it for money, we're going to have a very long talk.
Wow, that's good. Badger, the floor is open. Ask anybody you want. Who you want to ask the question of?
Anybody I want.
Yes.
Oh, that's dangerous. I kind of want to ask Leonard, but I also want to ask Willow all at the same time.
You gotta pick one.
I know. I think Leonard reached through the screen and smacked me if I asked him what I was going to ask. So I'll go to Willow.
Okay. Willow? Badger,
Yeah.
Badger has a what would you do if? Can he ask you?
Sure can.
Okay, Badger.
If Great Spirit could give you any gift to help the people, in your opinion, what would be the greatest gift?
Wow.
Good question.
That's an easy one. That's an easy one there. The greatest gift that you could give me to help people would be JC, Jesus Christ, through his word. His word was in the beginning. He's the Alpha and the Omega. He's my all and my all. He's my omni. I can go on and on. That is the greatest free gift that you could give me to help the people. Did I answer your question?
No.
You say no? How can you say no, man? She answered it. Were you looking for a particular answer?
A deeper one.
That's as deep as she go, brother.
That's fair.
That's the foundation.
See,
you'll probably I don't mean to cut y'all, Badger, but you was probably looking for you're probably looking for a different answer, like a love or some kind of skill or something like that's probably what you was looking for.
Well, to me, that already exists in communities, and it doesn't do a lot. That's
Mm.
all.
Okay. Let me go to and man, I wanted to go to Public Citizen. He just hung up. I want to give him opportunity to ask her what would you do, but Public Citizen, if you have another minute or two, call back in, brother. I wanted to come to you and have you to ask her what would you do if. But in the meantime, let me go to K with the E. K, you haven't been asked, so the floor is open for you and anybody you want.
Well, this is for everybody.
Nope.
If
Got
I
pick.
can have
Nope.
anybody, I want everybody.
Nope. One person. See, you
I
trying.
don't know who
See, you
got
trying.
left.
You trying to change the game. See.
No, you said anybody. Anybody is everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, who's left? Who haven't been asked?
No. You can ask anybody. The floor is open.
See, nice.
But you just gotta pick one person though.
Badger almost asked my question, and I don't even know who I want to ask.
I'll take it on.
You'll take the question. I'm gonna give it to Badger. He almost asked. I mean, he asked Willa, but Badger, I'm gonna change it around. If you was given the power to change something that would take an effect on the whole entire world, what would you change?
Ooh.
Who you asking?
Badger. She's asking Badger.
Badger.
Okay.
For me, the power to teach everyone how to look past the mind. How to work through the illusions the mind perceives in society to reach the connection to Great Spirit through the heart and soul.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Now, I think we've touched everybody. Yeah, we've touched everybody. It's been a great broadcast. Anybody else want to throw something at real quick before we get out of
here? We need to come with a question. Ask Kay. She shouldn't ask a question.
Handle it, Rico. Handle it. But look here. Don't.
Man, everybody in this world will love everybody. I would change everybody's heart. Everybody's heart. Everybody would love everybody. It wouldn't be no more hunger, hope, homeless. I would change everybody's heart. Do you hear me? Everybody.
Cassandra.
That's all it would take.
Cassandra. Let me see. Is Cassandra still with us? Let me see here. Yeah. Cassandra, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm gonna ask one more question and I'm gonna get out of here. You have to select one of your 5 senses that you can no longer have. Which would you give up?
Taste.
Huh? Taste?
That's the one I would give up.
Yeah, taste. Because everything else, I would need to do what my life mission is. Taste, I don't need. I mean, I can do what I do without sight, but it helps that I'll be able to get around. Hearing, I need that in order to hear the people and what they're trying to say to me, even though I can learn sign language. But taste to me would be the one that I could live without.
Wow. And Leonard, you say you would pick the same one?
Yes.
Charles, which one would you give up, Charles? Charles, you there? Badger, pick one. Come
So
on,
you're
Matt.
talking about taste, sight, hearing, touch,
Smell and all that.
smell.
Mm-hmm.
Sight. So I can never be accused at looking at somebody because of their color.
Okay. Okay. Tucson. Tucson still with us? No, I think we lost Tucson. Rico, which one would you select?
I need my nose to smell fire. I need my ears to see danger. I need my eyes I need my eyes to see danger, my ears to hear danger, what may be dangerous. And, I need to be able to touch what may be harmful or hot that might burn me up.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those other senses I need to survive. Taste, I could do without taste.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need taste to survive.
What's your favorite food, Rico?
Sugar.
So you'll never be able to taste sugar again.
I'm cool.
Pete, which one would you give up?
Anything is sweet, man. Fruit, watermelon, you name it. Ice cream, popsicle.
Exactly. Pete, which one would you give up?
Taste.
Now, what's your favorite food? And imagine not being able to taste it never again in your life. Eating it, but you can't taste it.
I almost went there with you, Raheem. I was gonna say, what if I like to eat and it don't necessarily have a taste? But I'm gonna leave that alone.
Oh!
Everybody get up and walk away, huh?
Well, look at I know it's time for us to go.
That too has a taste.
I know it's time for us to go.
Can we censor him?
Exactly.
I need a censor.
Look at boy, this must be.
We gotta come up with a get in that corner song.
Exactly.
I'm gonna pull a Bill Clinton. I inferred. I did not fully say.
Curtis, which one you giving up? Curtis?
My sense of taste.
Everybody.
Everything that I do is centered around everything that I do. As work, as pleasure, whatever, is centered around my ability to utilize all my other senses.
Mm-hmm.
My sense of taste is it's not required.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Willa?
I'll say touch.
Why touch?
Because out of all the senses that I have, that's the least one that I would want to get. That's the one that I would want to give up the most because I need all the other ones to complete my purpose.
So you want to taste that favorite food, huh?
Sure do, because I like some Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
Come on now, the butter pecan. Yes, Lord. Look, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. K with an E. Which one you giving up, K?
She like that expensive sugar. She ugly. She hot ass ice cream.
Exactly. Oh, she don't want just the average sugar. K, which one?
I'm gonna say smell, cause I can see it's a fire. I can see everybody running, something going on. It's a fire. I can read, I can see, I can hear, I can touch, I can taste. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna taste that smoke in my mouth. If it's a fire, I'm gonna taste it because I can taste onions in my mouth if I'm cooking them. So I want my taste to stay there, but I can smell. I don't need that smell. I don't want to smell nothing stinky. So I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna lose my smell.
Okay, good deal. And that concludes the broadcast for today. Now y'all know that Monday and Tuesday we're doing rebroadcast. I'll be in Las Vegas. My wife and I we're going to Vegas for a few days, and so we're leaving out tomorrow, and we won't come back here until Tuesday night. And so we'll be doing a rebroadcast Monday and Tuesday. So y'all get a chance, go look at one of the ones we did back in the past. It might stir up something in you. But Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today?
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see it or hear it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Now, see, yesterday you stumbled over me. I'm glad you got it back right today. You stumbled on that thing yesterday.
Oh yeah, man. We had a lot of stuff going on at the end right there, man. We done had like 3 days of way outwins the continuation.
Exactly. And that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. I definitely enjoyed it, man. And Leonard done fell asleep on us up there. Like he's asleep. I don't know what's going on with Leonard over there. Look at. I believe he's asleep, man. Willow.
Hey, Raheem. Hey, I'm ready.
You ready?
I am so ready. Yes, I am. But before I get started, I just want to thank everybody so much for all the beautiful comments that they made on yesterday. That
Yes.
You don't know me physically, but just through my voice and the way I'm talking to you guys, that you've accepted me and you love me as your family.
Yes.
And I'm just like Raheem. I love you and ain't nothing you could do about it. But I just want to let y'all know, but it ain't nothing but the Holy Spirit
Yes.
that works through me. I'm just a vessel. I'm just a
Mhm.
dwelling place that
Yes.
the Holy Spirit used. And I always want to stay humble. So thank
Absolutely.
you guys so much for those comments.
Look,
Amen.
use family now. Use family now. Ain't that how they say it? Use family now. Go ahead, Willow.
I know it. I know. I feel that way. I tell you guys made me feel so welcome. I appreciate that.
Amen.
Amen. Now let us go before our Father. Amen. Let us go before his throne. Father, we thank you so much, Lord. Father, you just don't know how much we thank you for all you do in our lives, oh Lord. And Father, my prayer is that I'm asking that you soften someone's heart and open up their mind to the truth and sound doctrine, Lord. Father, touch Raheem and his family as they travel on Monday and Tuesday. Give them travel and grace and mercy, Lord. Anyone that's taking a trip this weekend, keep them covered, Lord. Protect them, oh Lord. Father, I thank you for each and every last person on this line, Lord. Father, I know there's a purpose that you have for them in their lives, oh Lord. And I'm asking you, oh Lord, to allow the Holy Spirit to dwell in their vessel, oh Lord, so they can see the things that you do, Lord. Father, line us up. Show us your wisdom, your understanding, your guidance. Father, we come against cancer. We come against depression. We come against anxiety. We come against those things that the enemy try to keep us down. But Father, we know that you're going to give us the victory, Lord. Father, we thank you for it in the name of Jesus. Thank you for the Holy Spirit keeping us, guiding us, directing us, showing us your ways. We love you, honor you, praise you. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Yes, Lord. Yay. Yeah, hey, look at we
Amen.
we
Amen. Amen.
we can go. We can go now. We can go. Listen. And let me look at time. Oh, Rico.
Yeah.
Y'all owe me 12 minutes. We 12 minutes over.
Well, I ain't do it this time. I ain't even mentioned that.
Y'all owe
I kept
me
my mouth shut.
No. Y'all owe the house 12 minutes. See, we had 3 hours and 12 minutes. So y'all owe the house 12 minutes. The house, y'all owe the house 12 minutes. We taking all.
Hey, look at you using all them Vegas terms. You ain't slick, man. You see how you done integrated in the Vegas already?
Yes, sir. You heard it,
Trying
ain't
to get us. He trying to beat us. He talking about the house. What, man, you ain't no casino. Get up out of here with them 12 minutes.
Hey, I have a question.
I want to know why Cable keeping Willa to herself so long.
Exactly.
I have a question.
What's your question?
What is Willow's information so folks can find and listen to what she has to say?
She's actually on
on Facebook.
On Facebook or
On Facebook.
Yeah. And
Willow Brown.
And like
Willow
I said,
Brown.
if you can't
Willa
Brown. Yeah. If you can't find it, go to DK.
WILLA.
If you can't find it, go to DKM Radio 1.1. She posts there, and you can click on her thing there, and it'll take you straight to her page. You can friend her. So if you go to Radio DKM Radio 1.1, she posts a message there, so you can friend her from that point, and that way you don't have to worry about searching and stuff like that. You go straight to her. Fair enough.
Hey, y'all gonna love it too, man.
I'm just trying to find it.
I mean, she got me ever since the Sunday she invited me. I've been on it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I didn't keep her to myself. I said, I move when the spirit say move.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how that happened.
There you go. Well, I'm definitely glad that it did, man. Like I say, she's family, man, and she, like I say, she can't get rid of us now. She could try. She can try, but it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. You know, we ain't worry about that. It ain't gonna work. She can try. It ain't gonna work.
Right.
She went to the boom boom room now.
Exactly.
You know, she's life with no parole.
Yeah. What do you say? Oh, Satchmo. Over there with old Satchmo. Listen, well, let's get out of here, man. Y'all done mess around and talked up on another doggone now, man. Look at that, 14 minutes. Y'all, boy, I gotta go, y'all. Hey, Leonard.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a clean joke before we get out of here, Leonard.
A clean one?
Yeah, I ain't got now. Go ahead. Tell us a clean joke, Leonard.
A clean joke.
Yeah, tell us a clean one,
How you
Leonard.
gonna say that?
No, Leonard jokes ain't clean.
I don't know no clean ones that I like.
See what I mean?
Really? I mean,
Who was that? Wasn't that Leonard that didn't want to lose his taste bud?
I give up the taste because that's my weakness. That's why I give it up so fast. But
man, you can't think of a clean joke, man.
No.
He couldn't even tell us why he wanted to keep his taste bud and keep that clean.
I wish I knew one. You know, I imagine I do, but I just don't feel like that type of funny right now.
You asked for another one.
Look at Charles said, "You don't know a clean joke? How you
Y'all
be a
still
comedian and don't know a clean joke? At least one.
At least one.
At least one. Listen, we're going to get out of here, man. Lil ain't gonna tell us no joke today.
That just means he's for 21 and up.
Hey man, let me tell you what just happened. You know, I work at a doctor's office, right?
Yes.
So I travel around, so I'm up front right quick, man. Nope. This how do you call people that are a small person? Put it that way. Came in. And I guess, you know, the wife was regular size. So he come up front, man, and he's raising all kind of mess just now in the doctor's office. That's when I had left and came back. I mean, he raised a mess. So I come out there, I'm like, excuse me, sir. I mean, you okay? He cussing me out. I just cussed me out, man. And then I like, look, I ain't got to take this. I went to go get a doc. Doc came back up front. And then he cussed Doc out. I don't know, something about the medicine the wife didn't get or something. So Doc said, look, man, you got to leave. So he didn't want to leave. So as I was walking, you know, me and Doc walking out, this dude jumped over here, started grabbing on my leg and pulling on my leg like I'm pulling on y'all's. April Fool.
You know what? See, that's probably why we messed with you, Charles. Right there. Right there.
Y'all wrong for that. Who's laughing? Why y'all laughing?
Look at that joker say he started pulling on my leg like I'm pulling on y'all.
I had y'all attention, didn't I?
Now that's a clean joke.
That's a clean joke. Exactly.
Yeah. That was clean.
Exactly. Boy, look at start pulling on my I'm pulling on my leg like I'm pulling on y'all's. Okay.
I'm pulling on y'all.
Wait, he said I'm dead. I'm done. Peace. I'm gone. Listen, it is now what I want to thank everybody. What is it? 10:29. I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK and Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:29. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. And please, please be blessed.